Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
On your AMA card, though, like the first time you ever had your pro license, and you're like,
Yep.
hey, there's my number. It looked like a little credit card. Ours was pretty terrible, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
probably have it somewhere.
Well, mine was because Doug Henry, like he was always my guy, so I picked number 19 just because of him. But I was like the same when I was little. I was like, they were like, what number do you want to be? I was like 3.
Pick one.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So, yeah, we're stoked to have Cade in the studio tonight. It's really, really cool to be able to sit here. I was talking to these guys a little bit this week, and it was neat to, like, reminisce. Like, Casey and I are like grandpas compared to Cade, but we both raced Supercross from Tucson, Arizona. Cade did it, you know, he grew up in Ohio. But it's cool now, like, to see. It made me start thinking about how many professional racers came from a small town, right? So like and I want to ask you about Ohio too. So, but in Tucson, there was very few. Like back in the day, like even before us, there was Carlos Serrano, who was friends with Bones Bacon. And then there was a couple other guys that we knew, like they were ahead of us, with Eric Anderson and Justin McMurch.
Absolutely.
And then there was our generation. So yourself, me, and a couple other dudes, but I don't really remember. And then Ryan Wilson, but who else made it to the Supercross level?
I don't. Did Jeremy ever give that a shot?
I don't know that he did.
I'm not sure.
So it was few and far between, and it started me thinking, like, obviously Southern California has a boatload of people that make it to the level, but who made it in Ohio? Brock Sellards, right?
Sellards, yeah. Plessinger's from Ohio.
Okay.
My teammate Logan Carnell, we grew up together.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a good amount of dudes who have made it and raced Supercross from Ohio. I don't know why it's like this weird thing. I think it's because we have a lot of good practice tracks.
Oh, really?
Like if a state has a lot of good practice tracks, like you can see like, you know, Florida, Ohio, like Minnesota, Indiana, like all those areas have like a lot of practice tracks, and that's where like people come from usually. It's super odd.
Like we were just talking with Gabe here a little bit ago, we end up knowing each other and we don't even realize it. And I think that community is like so tight.
Yep. It's a small world.
Yeah, exactly. So when one guy gets there, like the other ones naturally are following, and you're kind of just doing it together. I think maybe that's why it happens in those weird areas.
Speed builds speed for other people too, kind of thing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's really cool though. Like when you think about it, like Kansas, how many people come from Kansas? You know what I mean? Like what was Jeff Emig, I think maybe, and then like I don't know who else, but it made me start thinking about like, holy crap, like there's some really, really individual people. Like you got to feel pretty special for yourself, like to come out of Ohio, to be living on the West Coast now, and being all over the place in the country, doing all of these cool things. Like you mentioned that you were down in Georgia for a good portion of your life, and then where else? North Carolina? South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
And you're still young.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten to live a lot of different places. I've spent plenty of time on anywhere on the East Coast. I think I've been to like 35 states or something. It's pretty cool. I've been to a lot of different places and seen a lot of stuff.
That's so cool though. Like Casey and I talk about all the time, like, and that's the reason we started the show, is because it's called Your Dirt Life, right? Like the Dirt Life. And your dirt life has given you the opportunity to go all these places, and you probably wouldn't have met your wife had you not been going all these places, right?
Exactly. I met her in South Carolina when I was down there riding, so
dude,
it's something special. It's like I look back on like things that like kids I knew in high school and like what they've accomplished, and I'm just like, man, like I've gotten to go so many places.
You would have been so bored had you taken the other route, right?
Bored. So bored, stuck in Ohio.
Yeah, we are actually having this conversation with just me and my family. Totally not dirt life conversation, but like there's so many people that just get stuck. Like there's one person that I talked to about a year ago. She had never left Tucson as a city. Like she hadn't even been to Phoenix.
Maybe we met the same lady. I met this lady at the,
really?
Seriously, I went to the chiropractor one day, and she was working behind the counter. She's like, "What do you do?" And I was telling her and everything, and she was like, "Oh, that's so amazing. My goal is to just see the beach and see some snow." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Wow.
And she's like, "Well, I've never been further away than Phoenix." And I'm like, this lady was probably 30 something, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
yeah,
I could never imagine.
In your mind, you're probably thinking like, Mom and Dad took me when I was 10.
Yeah, like I mean, I drive 2 hours to ride every day. This lady's never drove more than 2 hours away in her life.
Okay, so we got the audio problem fixed, guys, but out of your case, maybe you could look at some of those. We've got to thank our sponsors and let everybody know. Well, first of all, thank you very, very much for everybody joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Like I said, we're really stoked to have Cade Clason in the studio. He's going to be getting back to Supercross racing very, very soon. So that's an exciting topic that we're going to talk about tonight, because all of us have missed racing in our lives, and we're going to get back to it. And now we have somebody to be rooting for when he hits the track. You can always tune in anytime on Facebook and YouTube live Monday nights at 6 p.m. And that's on the Dirt Life Show channels. And if you can't make it on Monday nights, you can always tune in to the archives, like on iTunes and Google Play, Stitcher, all those applications. And we always can go to thedirtlifeshow.com, so it's always available anytime. We're going to have some new merch and some new hats coming up pretty soon, so you guys can go check those bad boys out. Also, thank you very much to our sponsors. We want to thank each and every one of them so much. The guys at KMC Wheels. Casey's got a nice new T-shirt over there. KMC Wheels. He's got a nice shiny KMC wheel sitting up right behind him over his left shoulder. And then the piece de resistance. Cade, you got to smell this candle, dude.
It's not the same Matt that you lit it though.
Read what it says.
Yeah. Read what it
I already
says.
did. It
smells like victory. So thank you guys at KMC Wheels, and thanks Ryan Edwards over there. Really, fans of their product, and we have some pretty cool stuff coming up with those guys as well. So if you if you want to save some money on a shock therapy ride improvement system, you can always use the discount code DIRTLIFE and go to shocktherapist.com or give them a call over there. And we've had a lot of good success. There's been a lot of people that have been using their products in the past, 5 years since they've been around, but years since we've been around, and we've had a lot of good testimonials from them. Their suspension stuff works really, really good. They've even had people ask about motocross suspension, and they just do side-by-side, so it's pretty funny. Who do you use for suspension, actually?
I use Race Tech.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, those guys are very similar to Shock Therapy. They're just in different genres. So it's cool to have those Shock Therapy guys aboard, so we really appreciate those guys. The guys at Zollinger Racing Products, thank you guys very much. It's Travis Zollinger. We're just finishing up his Mint 400 video, so that thing's going to be coming out pretty soon once Travis gets back to me, and we'll just finish that bad boy up. So you can use the code DIRTLIFE over there at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Save on some of those awesome products that they have over there. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios. You can use the code DIRTLIFE. Get yourself some communication gear over there for all the awesome weather that we're going to be enjoying, especially here in Arizona. Solder Weld. We are going to give away the Solder Weld Off-Road Repair Kit. We're going to give away the camo one. Probably in about 20, 30 minutes. And then we're going to show the black one too. But thank you very much to Lance. And we got Vanessa in the house from Solderweld today. So she's going to be helping us with the giveaway. It's going to be pretty cool. We're going to do it in about 20 minutes. So everybody that's signed up to win that one, hopefully you guys followed the rules. Last time it was pretty hard. We had some people that didn't follow the rules. So, yeah, we had to pick like 3 different winners, and none of them. Yeah, so it ended up being like the 5th one or something. It was crazy. So thank you very much to the guys at Solderweld, and thank you, Vanessa, for coming all the way over here and hanging out. So before we get into Supercross talk, I wanted to ask you guys a question because I got the opportunity to do some iRacing this past week, and it was Lucas Off-Road Short Course in a Pro 4 truck, and it was on Wild Horse Pass short course track, and it was actually pretty cool. Like, it's not like riding a real dirt bike or in a real off-road car, but have you guys tried to do it yet?
I haven't had the opportunity to.
Dude,
it sounds like it's about $300,000 cheaper than
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, right.
But still too expensive.
Yeah, I know. Now that I know you have one, I might have to come over and test out your rig.
I don't actually have it. I got the opportunity to go over and do it. Like that's that Dove Mountain place I was telling you about, and up there. But I think the rigs are like, I don't even know, $2,000 to $5,000 bucks.
Yeah. Well, Osborne was talking about buying one. I was talking to him one time, and he was talking about getting one.
Which one was he getting? Like for street car racing?
Yeah, but I know he was saying it was like $2,500 or something.
Have you looked into enough to know? Can you like buy it, or do you have to buy this and that?
I have no idea. I'm not buying none of it.
That part's hard too, because you're going to totally geek out on it and have to
buy more.
Yeah, right. Well, I got the wrong whatever. Now I need the better.
Now I need the shaker.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking too, because like I go in and I'm like looking at it all, and he's like, "Yeah, I got this computer and it's got like all these sick red lights and like this clear paneling and stuff." I'm like, "Dude, that computer probably costs $2,500 bucks. Like,
right.
Pretty cool." And then he's like, "Yeah, but I need a newer one. I need a better one." I'm like, "No."
Right. That's always how it is.
Like everything else. Yep.
Exactly.
So, and then you just bought a new house, so it's gonna be like, no, we got to get like wall painting, like that stuff done first, right?
Oh, it was a terrible thing. The quarantine hit. I bought a mountain bike, and then we bought a house. It's just like it's like terrible timing all the way around.
So, well, it'll be cool for you guys to get back to racing, though. So I thought the iRacing stuff was pretty cool, and the reason that I wanted to bring it up was not because I got to try it. Like, I was horrible at it. Like, I'm good at driving a regular car. Not fantastic, but good at driving a regular car. But I'm terrible at the video game stuff.
Why?
I have no idea. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't think I could keep up with, like, not feeling it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, okay, we'll put it this way. I don't like riding the trainer inside. I like riding my bicycle outside.
Okay.
So you used to play Excite Bike all right, though.
Yeah, but I was like 5, 10 years old, right?
I'm not a big trainer guy either, though.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Like, I like Zwift, but only when it's too hot or too cold.
Agreed.
So I could probably get along with that, but I haven't tried Zwift yet, so maybe that's where I need to go.
Zwift is cool.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to go trainer, Zwift, then iRacing.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I thought it was pretty cool, though, and the reason I wanted to bring it up was because it's actually pretty valuable as far as marketing goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, totally.
Because so many people can see it, and so many people can watch it from the comfort of their home.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the kid that I went over, his name's Ethan Ebert. He was on the show 2 shows ago. His family invited me over. We had thank you very much for dinner and stuff, too. But he's actually, like, one of the top 3 dudes. Like, he's badass at it. And people are already, like, Lucas Oil's wanting to get on board with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are trying to get in on, like, sponsoring the program, like a full racing program. And like you said, Case, it's not $300,000, it's $3,000.
Right.
Like, so it's nuts to see that. Like, that part, like, blew me away.
I can see the draw for being people that have done stuff, the real stuff, it doesn't make sense kind of, but the more you think about it, there's still that human interaction. Like, you could do that on TV, right, on ESPN or whatever.
Right.
And you could show the personalities, even though you're not sitting in a real race car. Mm-hmm. I can see why people would watch it. Like, why would you want to watch poker compared to whatever? But I get it because of the human factor there, because it's actually a person doing the thing, you know, and it's not just watching the simulated car going around. Like, you've got all the personality going on too. So I actually think it's like a reality TV kind of thing. I could see why people would want to.
It kind of is. And then there's like
it.
the opposite end of the spectrum too. Like, you can't do it in motocross, but like I was told a story that there was a guy that was like the champion NASCAR online guy, iRacing guy, but he actually got a NASCAR ride.
Yeah, so that's
Really?
a real thing. Yeah, NASCAR teams are actually looking at the top iRacing guys to like hire them. And
That's
they'll
bananas.
They'll
That
bring 'em
is.
out. Well, I guess like there's really nice rigs that like are super realistic.
Sure.
Like they'll actually wear a helmet. They'll put all the things on. They'll sit in a real car chair and it actually tilts and does things like that. So like it's crazy. Like some of these dudes will spend like 20 grand on a rig to try this.
See, we just went from 2,500 to 20.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
that's-
it's just like anything, right?
It
Like
is,
you
right.
can go from like 0
Yep.
to 100, but
Of course.
So imagine your entry into NASCAR is only 25 grand. Though.
Right, still. And I would think it's probably similar to like a flight simulator, right? So they're getting flight hours in a simulator.
that's
So
one of my dreams.
I'll bet
Sit in one of those
that
things.
sounds awesome.
That sounds cool.
But I can see the parallel.
So do you guys think you'd be good at the? Well, I know that he would. I think
I
you
don't
would really
I'm
because.
getting pretty old.
So you may not know this, but Casey's he was a dirt bike racer as well, but he was a professional RC car driver too. So like he can fly RC planes, and like that's almost virtually impossible. Like it is so difficult, right?
Guy's
And then,
way better than me at it, but when you can do some of it, you can do a lot of it.
so I think
that way.
that like coordination piece of it, like instead of just like handlebars and bumps, like you have all these little things like rubbing your tummy and patting your head kind of stuff. Like I think he would actually probably do pretty good at the iRacing stuff. Do you think you would?
I think I'd be okay. I'm quite the video game guy.
Are you?
I am, but I'm not allowed to have one.
Oh, really?
I have a very addictive personality.
Yeah, I know the
So
feeling.
like when I have a PS4 in front of me, it's like Call of Duty all day.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just we've just came to the agreement that we're just not gonna own it.
So Sarah's like cut you off.
Oh yeah.
You want to stay married. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no video
Good
game
call.
console in the house.
Good call.
That's pretty cool, man. So yeah, the iRacing thing I think is a legitimate opportunity for people that may or may not have availability to go out and either buy their side by side, get on a dirt bike, whatever it is. I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, I do too.
I think it's a fully new thing. Whether I'm good at it or not makes no difference. I think it's super cool especially for the kids because these kids were ripping, like shredding so fast. One thing that I was going to ask you is I saw a ride that Casey did on his bicycle this weekend, and it looks so awesome. Have you gotten very much time to ride road bikes or mountain bikes here in Tucson?
Man, I ride bicycles more than I need to.
Really?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Mountain bike or road
Mountain, road, all the above.
bike? Really?
Where are you riding at?
We'll have to hook up. You name it.
Yeah, I'm a big lemon
Arizona.
guy. Arizona. I haven't really been outside of Tucson. I've spent 90% of my time on Mount Lemon, especially even if I'm just on my road bike. I'll just, it's only 3 miles from my
Yeah,
house,
and
so
that's
it's like
great
warm
training.
up, climb.
Great training,
so
yeah.
It's
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at. And then if I'm riding my mountain bike, it's either, there's like Fantasy Island and stuff, but most of the time I'm up on the mountain, doing laps at the top or something like
Sure.
that.
There's a lot of, people come from all over for the riding out here, so you can do a lot without leaving the town. Put it that way.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you
So-
gotten any Strava King of the Mountains or anything like that yet?
Dude, it's impossible to get KOMs around here. Are you kidding me?
is,
There's
right?
there's like millions of people
And then
on each segment.
then these full-on pros that I'm talking about, they're literally targeting this town.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, you want that one, huh?" And
Yeah.
then they come in and get all
Smash
of them.
it.
Yeah,
And
all
you-
of them.
And you're like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly.
So one of my buddies is-
I was
Go ahead.
pumped. I just got into the top 1,000.
Nice.
Dude, on a
Breaking in.
It's a 5-mile segment from the bottom to the mile marker, like 5.5 up Lemon, and I finally got into the top 1,000, and I'm like,
Isn't that
yeah,
insane?
it's crazy. Like,
That
how
was
many? And I'm a
pretty-
good cyclist. Like I don't
Yeah.
suck. Like I'm not like a pro cyclist or anything, but I don't suck.
Yeah, like you're
Right.
going pretty decent.
Yeah.
So one of my buddies is Justin Barsha's trainer, Tom Danielson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he comes out here and he brings all his people that he
Yeah.
trains and stuff, and they like Justin came out one time too, and they crush it.
Oh, it's insane.
Like-
yeah, their camps are so big.
So and then a couple guys that used to help me. I did some long bicycle races and I did Ironman and stuff like that. But while I was doing that, I had a cycle shop helping me, and I met a guy named Chris Gould, and him and his crew that go out, they were doing. I think he said there was 15 or so in their little pack or peloton, whatever you call it, down a flat street. It's called Marianne Cleveland here. They were doing 40 miles an hour average.
No.
40 miles an hour. I was like, my gearing can't even go that high.
No, I can't pedal that fast.
And I was thinking to myself, like, how the heck do you even get to that level? Like, it's bananas. Like you have to spend so much time in the seat to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, be able to carry that gear is
Yeah,
not
exactly.
easy.
So let's start talking about Supercross. We got Josh Shorter calling in.
Nice.
Josh, what's up, dude?
What is happening? How's it going?
Good, bro. How are you, man?
Fantastic. What's going on out there?
We just been talking about bicycle riding, hitting the road and stuff like that. So for people that are in our audience that don't remember, Josh Shorter was on our show. He's the brand manager for Thor Motocross. And one of the topics that we were going to talk about tonight was Cade stoked on it, that we're going to get back to Supercross racing. What's it, May 31st, I think?
May 31st.
And Josh wanted to chime in too. So let's jump into it, bud. Have you been getting all kinds of gear ready for everybody?
Yeah, actually, good call on that. It was sort of the scramble. The announcement came down. Everybody's been kind of ready for it. Everybody's been kind of, teed up for it. We knew it was coming. There'd been a lot of rumors, a lot of talk. But as soon as it became official, we definitely had to start scrambling to get people dialed in. It's tricky too, because man, it's not going to be, the usual scene. It's not going to be, all the usual suspects, all the industry people, everybody piled in out there, the families, the man friends, the photogs, everybody else, so it's going to be tricky logistically to figure it out, especially because, and I'm sure you guys are aware, it's more or less people are going to be kind of shacked up in the Salt Lake area.
Yeah. So
there's not going to be in and outs for Utah,
So it's going to be in Rice Eccles Stadium, right? And it starts May 31st and ends
The
June?
21st.
The 21st of June.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Yep.
what is that, 4 weeks?
3.5 weeks.
So 3.5 weeks, and they got to fit 7 races. And they told you that they were going to do every Wednesday and every Sunday.
Yep.
That's freaking bananas. So that means that, well, you'd be a good person to ask, but also Josh, you have to have all the gear ready for that whole month for everybody, and then just ship it all there, or how's that going to work?
No. You can ship it in installments. Depends on what people need, things like that. I mean, as a gear brand, it's important because someone like Cade can appreciate the fact that you got your race program on point, your training, your diet, you're paying attention to everything else. The last thing you're thinking about is, oh shit, did I wash my gear for tonight? So
Yeah.
you gotta kind of tee it up. You got to take care of that stuff because, everybody else has a job to do, and it's our job to stay on top of it for the guys.
That's pretty crazy, though. That's way different logistically, because usually you would just send it with your gear guy, right?
Yeah, Andy G, man. Andy G's been doing it for Thor forever. So, yeah. He will, as of right now, not in attendance because again, it's a head count thing. So we got to figure it out.
So how many industry guys are not allowed to go then?
I think there's a 900 person limit right now, and like each rider right now is only allowed to bring 2 people. So like for me, I put my mechanic, and since my wife can't come, I went ahead and put our team manager on there too.
Oh, cool.
But like, all my teammates, they were able to put a mechanic, and I think the one kid's mom is going to come to a couple or something like that. But it's like super tight knit.
Wow.
I think there's 10, I was talking to Wygant today, and I think he said there's only 10 media people coming.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So even like as far as the riders go, the riders usually have a good amount of people with them. So even I don't know.
We don't have to worry about guest passes. That's the best part.
That is true. So everybody that's asking,
people guest passes.
All the
is
homies.
terrible.
yeah, you're like, nah.
No, hey, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. No Friday calls like, hey man, I forgot. Like, no, dude, I'm not getting you tickets.
Yeah, they're in will call for you.
Yeah, right.
And then so they had before we get into all the positive stuff, because I'm pumped on racing, but so they have some rules set up. You guys have to go to Utah and stay there then?
So we don't have like an official rule book yet. We've heard like a lot of speculation. Basically what we've heard is we have to be there 2 days ahead of time to basically get tested, because it's like a period long that it takes to get the test and everything.
Got it.
And then once we're there, we're supposed to stay. If we have to leave, we have to, again, come back 2 days ahead of time to get tested again.
Makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Tough to do in that window, though. You can't do it
for
between
sure.
Sunday and Wednesday,
Between
Yeah.
Sunday and Wednesday, it's impossible. But, I mean, it's possible between Wednesday and Sunday, but not enjoyable at all.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Like that's That's a lot of stuff. And then what about staying at like hotels and stuff?
So again, we don't know for sure. I've heard a lot of different speculation. I know they asked how many days. Like we got a form that like said who we were gonna have with us, and they asked how many nights at a hotel. There's people who think that they might cover our hotel. There's people who think that we're going to be able to stay wherever. There's people that think we're going to have to be lock and key all in these like 5 hotels that they've approved. So like I said, we don't know for sure. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure that we are going to end up being able to stay wherever we need to, as long as we, basically self-quarantine when we're not racing.
Yeah, so it won't be too bad then. That's going to be a pretty long haul, though, for staying at the hotels, though, right?
Yeah, I have some friends up there that have offered me a place to stay, so I'm pretty fortunate. But
that is good.
And I know Feld is. Someone else had mentioned that they're asking about the dates, so that they can help accommodate. They're like bargaining with the hotels, I guess, to get a cheaper price because there's so many people that come and have to stay.
That makes sense.
So I mean, there's a lot of things I think playing out. Like I said, we don't know for sure what's happening, but. There's only one that sucks, and it's if we have to stay in this fancy hotel for 3.5 weeks, and we have to pay for it.
It's $1 jillion.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that happens, then I'm not,
So it's crazy how much
crazy.
extra you're. I mean, we're glad to go racing, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's pumped to do it, but just think of all the stuff that's going behind the scenes and just the stuff that's added to your, extra schedule now to have to make work. And same thing with Shorter, all this extra stuff that. Like you said, you were kind of thinking about it, but how would you prepare for that like a month ago?
Yeah, right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
And I don't know. You can probably answer this. I don't know where your guys' gear comes from, but like I know our Just One gear, like they just are now allowed to be able to ship it into the U.S. So like for a while we weren't even allowed to get gear. So like I've been wearing old stuff for quite a while now. I don't know how that works for you guys.
Josh?
Yeah. Yeah, Cade, I was going to say, if you got trouble, man, just, give me a call.
I feel like
just kidding, guys. I'm not trying to get in trouble. But no, that's the thing is that brings up a really good point, is that, all the, athlete gear, everything that is sublimated, everything that is maybe tweaked or custom sized or anything like that, the perfect stuff for you riders has been held up. For one reason or another, depending on what factory, what country it's coming from. Everyone says, "Oh, that stuff all just comes from China." No, that's not true at all. Yeah, a lot of stuff does for sure, but there are a variety of countries, generally Asian countries, where the stuff comes from, and hangups have been phenomenal in getting stuff here. We've been fortunate enough to get our season stuff in. So we're good, on the Thor side of things, but there's a lot of guys who maybe didn't plan far enough ahead or didn't see this coming, which none of us did, and they're hung up right now. So, kind of deal with that.
So are you going to just wear the stuff that you have on hand?
No, they just told us today that they're able to get us stuff now.
Oh,
so we have brand new stuff coming. So,
Sweet.
yeah,
you were sweating for a little bit.
Well, I mean, we're good. Like Sarah gets on me because I have a bunch of gear at home that I just saved.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Cade, like, why don't we give some of this away?" And I'm just like, "No, like, what if I need it?"
Yeah.
And now I have like
bingo.
Exactly. I got a tote, and so it's
perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
What if coronavirus?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if the coronavirus?
Be
I just have
prepared.
to wear my old gear.
How many pairs of pants or whatever are going to have something referring to Rona?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You think there has to be? It.
Did you guys make any special stuff that you can tell us about, Josh?
I was just going to ask that. I feel like he's got something slid in there.
Nothing I can say. It wouldn't be special.
We'll see.
Sweet.
We'll see it on the live broadcast.
Give me a couple weeks. I'll let you know. Give me a couple weeks.
Perfect. It'll be cool. So what's the plan for the stuff like us sitting at home? Like I can't wait to watch. And like I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, like now I'm clearly going to be rooting for Cade, but it's just going to be fun to like get back, right? Like we have something to be excited about. He's going to be at the race, so he's excited. Yeah. But all of us sitting at home. Now we can watch, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's just going to be so weird on Wednesday, Sunday, right?
I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of cool.
No, it's awesome, but is it like going to be live? Did I waste all my money on the Gold Pass? I mean, what's happening for me? I don't really know. I'm just like waiting. I can't wait, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, trust me, neither do we.
Okay.
We don't have a clue.
All right.
You're in the same position we are.
Okay.
You're just winging it, see what happens. Did they tell you guys anything, Josh, like being an industry guy?
No, basically, we got a, kind of sort of a, a little bit of the insider info that comes from the riders. When the riders are told something, that comes straight to us because we have to be able to supply them, right? But as far as answers go, it's essentially, I think Prater addressed everything really well. If you guys read up on Dave Prater's sort of assessment, the reasoning behind it, the logic behind this rollout, and some good questions were asked, and he responded, I think, very well. And the fact is like you guys, everyone here just got excited. Like, dude, we're getting some freaking racing back.
Yes.
Hell yeah. It's
Agreed.
like twice a week. It's kind of sick, to me as a fan first and foremost is it's kind of compacted, with that twice a week schedule. It's pretty rad. Cade brings up a question for guys like you is, does that affect your training or are you just, hell yeah, let's go race? What does that do for you?
I mean, for myself, like even right now, I'm riding 2 days a week. I mean, it's pretty normal, I mean, there's no, especially the Wednesday or Sunday to Wednesday, like a day off before the race, a day off after the race, like that's pretty basic, Some guys say they're going to try and sneak a day of riding in, I think on Friday. So you'll take Thursday off, ride Friday, take Saturday off, but even that, like 3 days off, like if you can't take 3 days off and expect to come back and be just as good as you would have, I mean, that's, that's personal issues. I don't think so. I'm going to take my bicycles. I'm going to take, I have a gym at my house.
Plus,
so
it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's only 3 weeks. Like, even if you rode 2 times in 3 weeks, like, I mean, I know plenty of guys that don't ride during the week and because they're hurt and then race on the weekend,
That's
right?
True. Yep.
So, like, people have been in positions and made it work before. So,
right.
I mean, I don't see it being as any sort of a problem.
What was that, Josh?
Back to the bicycle thing real quick, because I wasn't here for that part of the conversation. Cade, did you post that 50-mile mountain bike ride the other day?
I mean, I've done some big rides, yeah. I posted one like maybe 2 weeks ago.
It looked pretty. Sorry guys, I'm not looking at it right now, but I was just thinking about it. I was listening to you guys, and I'm like, pretty sure Cade posted like a pretty insane mountain bike ride that looks pretty gnarly.
50s are pretty good on a mountain bike.
That's no joke on a mountain bike.
Oh yeah.
I've done some big rides recently. I try not to hype myself too much on Instagram, but my Strava, man, I pump it, man. I literally, my wife gets on me because I go for segments all the time, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
you're a Strava hunter.
That's the worst part. Is like
good.
Around here, there's so many like pro cyclists that I can't even hang. So it's like I'm literally just trying to get in like the top 1,000, the top 500. Right. Like it's not even about getting like I'm pumped because I just broke the top 10 on some of the mountain bike segments coming down. I can descend apparently, but I can't climb like some of these cyclists.
All right, I'm trying to add you
the
on
Mount
Strava
Lemon
right
one.
now.
The Mount Lemon one.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one. The Mount Lemon I was talking about.
I
yeah,
did,
that's gnarly, man.
Yeah, the Mount Lemon one. That was on my road bike though, the 64-miler one.
Okay.
That was on my I do big road rides all the way up the mountain. It's
right.
like, I think I try to do I want to do a ride where I get over 10,000 feet of climbing.
That'd be awesome.
That's one of my goals.
So you're probably doing it like an hour faster than me.
Yeah, dude. I've done it so many times in the last like year. I love climbing. I think I don't know why. I just love the grind about it. I hate pedaling on a flat road. It's just I don't know why. But yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I enjoy cycling a lot.
That's that long moto mentality, though, so it's easy.
Dude, so what's this one? Looks like a whole bunch of scratches.
It's because I wear my watch when I ride moto.
Oh, okay.
That's really just.
Oh, at ACP.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah, your Strava's killing it, dude.
Yeah, that's all I got going for me. My Strava game.
So you're gonna start after this motocross thing ends, you'll start doing all these KLS.
I became Strava personality.
I became friends.
Strava influencer.
Yeah, right. I became friends with a guy from town here who's a really good mountain biker. I'd like to do some like enduro mountain bike races.
I
love it.
What was the one that Josh did that he won? What was the name of that one, Josh?
That was the
Sea Otter.
Sea Otter, yeah.
Oh, Sea Otter, yeah. I know where you're at.
I won Jules Solemn at that one. Yeah, dude. So, oh my God, so fun. Such an incredible event. It's so fun.
Josh is a pretty avid cycler too. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Are you a mountain bike, road bike? What do you do?
If it's got wheels, it's got wheels, it's on.
Okay.
It's cool. It's kind of funny thinking about, Cade talking about how you like the grind, and then when it comes to descending, you're crushing at that. And it's funny, I raced a lot of cross country over the years, mostly like fitness for training for moto and stuff. Like I never made anywhere with moto, but I still race quite a bit. And it's funny, I do cross country races, and I like the sufferfest of it all, and that's great. And man, the minute somebody is in front of you and the descent goes anywhere from flat to 0.1 of a degree, if there's a roadie in front of you because they're just on the brakes the whole time. And you just bomb them. Like, I'd go through their moto style and like kind of push people through corners with the elbows and stuff. I get yelled at all the time for that shit, but it's so good for you. Like, cycling's the jam. The bicycles are awesome.
You know what's really funny about me is I love climbing. I love riding my mountain bike, but when it comes to coming down the mountain on my road bike, I am a grandma. Like,
really?
Dude, seriously,
So
I hate going down. I've crashed on my road bike going pretty fast, and
dude, maybe that's where maybe this paralyzed dude could like smoke all you guys going down Mount Lemmon then, because I get wicked nasty going down.
Yeah, but I got like 80 pounds on you, so
it freaks me out, man.
You're gonna be smoking past.
Dude,
really?
I seriously, man, like I'm not a descender on my road bike. It freaks me out. Like I said,
I love it.
I've crashed a few times on my road bike, and it sucks, dude.
Yeah.
It sucks. And but yeah,
I stay tucked. I'm ready. I do, honestly, when I power into those descents, so I get as fast as I can out of it.
Yeah.
But then I stay tucked, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for something to happen, and I can just roll as best as I can. It's like with that mentality. I know what you mean, dude.
That's funny.
You just turn into like a little ball as you're going down.
Oh, because dude, like Cade says, I mean, I have the same kind of. It's sketchy,
Dude, coming down Mount Lemmon's fun too.
It is a lot of fun. It's because it's like 30 miles from the ski resort down with like one little climb, but yeah, I mean 30 miles downhill is freaking sweet.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So what extra stuff did you guys have to do then, Josh, to get everything ready to go for Supercross?
Like I said, for us, we had all the materials needed, all the gear and everything else. All that prep was already done. So basically, it's just the logistic of, as Cade said, hey, we're not entirely sure. Is everyone staying at host hotels, and how's that going to work? So it's just making sure that our guys get what they need. And that's it. We've just been checking in with everybody, and we hear a lot of these same scenarios, like, I'm trying to get an Airbnb, or I'm just going to stay at this hotel, or I know a guy, just do what we can to work through it.
I was going to say those Airbnbs are probably going off right now.
Dude, right? There were some nice houses available because the
Not
team was
anymore.
looking at them, and I don't know if they're still available. Like I said, I have a place to stay, but like I know some teams, like big teams, that's what they're doing. They're just renting a house for the whole team.
Makes sense.
Little 6-bedroom house. A couple people can bunk up.
That's actually probably a lot safer though,
Get a
too.
little more
Like when you're
room to do
talking
whatever, too.
when you're talking about keeping clean or whatever, with all the stuff that's going on, then you're just surrounded by all the guys that are doing the exact same thing.
Oh, exactly. Like if you can put a whole team in a house, when you go to the race, that whole team's in the semi together anyways. So then like if you can, do your best to stay away from each other, the closest you need to be to anybody is when you're on the line or in the mechanics area.
Right.
Other than that, you don't really need to be anywhere else.
Yeah,
unless you're next to Barsha in a corner. Ugh.
Yeah, right.
You don't need to worry about any of this COVID stuff. You got to worry about his back tire. We had Peter Jacina say, "Yeah, Shorter's in the house," so getting some love, dude.
No, Pete.
So one of these days, because I was already having like people could saw my weak Strava compared to Cade's. Now I look at this thing, but. People started saying that they wanted to come to Arizona and ride with me, Josh. So maybe we could get like a whole like moto industry kind of day going here and have like because El Tour de Tucson is always in November. Yeah, and that's a super fun deal. Like you remember Phil Tinsman from Spy? He's won it one time. Like a bunch of other guys come out and race that race. It's you can do a 40 mile, I think an 80 mile, and a 100 mile or something like that. They split it up. So we should get a whole industry crew to come out here and do that because.
Oh, we need a team.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, we need a team. Yeah, Sarah and I did it this year. We just her and I did it. With
so
a
did
bunch
Casey.
of people. Casey, what'd you get?
We had a small. We only did the 50.
Oh,
we wanted to go hard on the 50 though.
Okay, that's fair.
But he only had like a few weeks of training to get up to. He was just like, "Oh, I'm going to do it."
All right.
One bottle and a beer too. Remember?
Yeah.
One bottle and a beer.
He lost his water bottle, so a guy's just like handing out beers.
Dude, I remember that guy. I was real close.
Dude, Shorter, you could get down on it as long as it's not a Coors Light, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, yeah, as long as it's not a Coors Light. But, is there like the 10-mile loop where your cup holder fits a pint glass?
I think there is, actually.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, dude, it's funny talking all this cycling because, I was pretty much putting on that quarantine 15, but I broke the roadie out, man. I've been pretty consistent with, a few rides a week, I'm getting rid of the dad bod. I'm done screwing around. So,
dude, fully, I'm right there with you, man. I've been trying to do it too. It's been nice too. Like if you get up early in the morning, it's been super nice. How's the weather been out there in California? Good.
Yeah. We had the most rain I can remember in a really long time, and it was like full blown winter. It was even cold, if you can believe that. I know a lot of people think I'm full of shit right now, but then it just flipped to summer and like overnight. It's like, oh crap, it's summer now. It's 80, 70s, 80s and stuff. And it's been pretty nice. So, it's been nice to get out and hammer some.
70, 80. That sounds pretty nice for
it does.
It did kind of the same thing here for us too, Josh, where we were like good for a while and then it was like 100.
So it depends on when. I don't know when these guys are riding. I think you guys are probably going in the morning.
I'm going at night or super early.
So the only time I really ever get to do it just because work is 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So I'm just getting beat.
I'm not doing that.
I'm getting melted. In fact,
you don't have to Strava it every time.
Yeah, right. And so, in fact, I just went and did it was an 11-mile headwind the whole time I went to your house the other day. So I was 30 miles into it at his house, 11-mile headwind the whole time at 4:30 to 5:30 going to his house.
That doesn't sound
my wife
enjoyable.
was like, dude, really? You okay?
I was so pissed. And then so I burned all my calories, and I only had, I got some water from him, and then I had to come all the way back, so it was another 20 miles or 10 miles or something from his house to here. And I was already done, when I exited his driveway. I was like, I got nothing left, so I just, pedaled slow all the way home.
I would have pulled into a gas station.
Did you get the tailwind on the way back? Or
No, dude, it turned around on me. I got screwed the whole time.
It is out here. So we get a swirling wind that
it just swirls all day.
It acts like a headwind every way. It's insane.
Yeah, it sucked, but it was good. I don't care about any of that, Josh. You know me, I'm happy-go-lucky. So no matter what, when I'm out there pedaling,
I know it, man.
I'm still pumped.
You're an inspiration to us all, buddy. I love it.
Well, I appreciate it, dude. Hey, and thanks for doing all that stuff with Tom Lee and all those pants and getting him hooked up, dude. That guy is amped up, and he's a photographer, so he's going to take some good pictures of his bike and all the gear and stuff, so it'll be sweet.
Yeah, man, happy to do it. No worries at all.
All right. The phone wasn't working. Well, you were supposed to have Jesse Nelson call in and talk to all of us, too, but I'm going to call him right now, Josh, so we'll let you go.
Boys, hey, Cade, good to meet you on the phone. I'll check you at the races, I don't know, next year, later this year or something. So.
Yeah, man, pleasure to meet you.
Maybe we can all go cycling one of these days. Thanks so much, Josh.
Hey, Josh. Good to hear
and
from you.
His chick's named Sarah, too.
Oh, look at that. Just all the Sarahs.
That's right.
So,
all right, boys, thanks so much.
All right, later, bud.
See ya.
Talk to you.
That is pretty cool. So our Supercross our Supercross segment got turned into a cycling segment.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I gotta admit though, that freaking Strava is pretty impressive, dude. I'm glad that I'm.
Well, I see Beamish up here on the screen. He's telling me to do the mountain twice. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Beamish he's the man.
He's an animal.
He kind of pretends he's not, but he is.
I looked at his Strava too. You don't need to go look at his.
He doesn't mess around.
No, you don't.
Absolutely.
So you guys can keep talking about the Strava stuff. I'm gonna get Jesse Nelson on the line. So where do you usually go on Mount Lemmon? How high do you go?
I'll go as high as you can go. I was planning on doing a ride just at the top, doing some laps, but it didn't end up happening.
Yeah, all the way at the top.
That's the cool thing about it is if it's super hot, you could just drive 5 miles or something, and that's pretty cool.
Jesse Nelson, what's up, bud? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good. Sorry about that audio mishap. Google Voice just didn't like us today.
Standard, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my racing program started out. It just doesn't work out until you figure it out, right?
Oh, yeah. That's always something electrical, I'm sure.
So what's up over there, dude? You stoked that Supercross coming back?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm ready to get it over with. I mean, it should have already been done, and somebody should have been crowned. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be, I think it's definitely going to be more in Tomac's favor, just being at altitude every weekend, and he's so used to that. But
that's a good point.
Kenny and him can put on a good show, and it's pretty much between the two of them. I haven't looked at the standings in a while. Am I correct?
Have you talked to Kenny at all? Like, what's his plan?
I haven't talked to him probably in like a couple weeks, but I don't know. I usually don't like to bug him, especially when he's in like the middle of the season stuff, and he's got a million other things going on, But we talk here and there. But every time we talk, we're always talking about something stupid. It's nothing racing related.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, I think it's going to be cool. Like, I don't know, like, if I agree with what you just said about, like, Tomac's going to have an advantage. I really honestly feel like it's going to be pretty solid racing at the front. Like, and
can he get that many starts in that amount of time?
Tomac, you mean?
He doesn't need to get a start. What are you talking about?
You're right. It's true. It's very true.
So, Cade and I were talking about – go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, yeah, you got a good point. The fact that Kenny's fresh, too, like, just – I don't know. He always starts off really well, like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
The first few rounds and tapers off, comes back. But I think having this break, it might just be like a fresh start to the season. I think he's going to do great. Don't get me wrong. They're both going to do well.
Cade, does it feel kind of like Anaheim won again? Like,
not quite, especially not for me, because Anaheim won this year was stressful. But no, I mean, I kind of agree. I think Eli has a slight advantage, but like Jesse said, I think, or I don't know which one of you guys said it, but I think Kenny's going to be super fresh, and Kenny always comes out of the box hot.
Mm-hmm.
So like
he really does. That's why, yeah.
I think he's probably going to have a good first couple, nights.
Like extra fresh.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like he's got nothing on his mind.
Yeah, and Tomac usually starts slow.
Right. That's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you and Jesse can answer this question then. Like, both of them have to be pretty physically fit to put all that effort in twice a week now.
I think
Well,
I think
not
you guys
just
are
that,
more.
it's the consistency.
Well, Kenny's good at being consistent, that's for sure.
Well, Tomac's more inconsistent,
Yeah, no, I said Kenny is consistent. Like, Tomac is.
yeah.
Tomac is less consistent. So I would give the
For
advantage.
sure, yeah.
Like,
Sorry.
if we're going advantage in that aspect, I'd give advantage Kenny right there.
I kind of feel like
honestly, I think it's going to be really great racing.
agreed.
All right, so what if we
It's going to be
take
tight.
so those guys are fighting for the championship. There's going to be some wild cards though too, because there's going to be Barsha's always Webb, and then now the number 9's back too, Casey's buddy Adam Cincerillo.
I feel like the whole season just turned into Triple Crown. Like, you know what I mean? Like every time it's just because it's all happening every couple days, like you said, or whatever it is. But yeah, I agree, Jesse. It's going to be great racing, no doubt.
I'm stoked that we're all in quarantine and we can have Supercross parties every couple days.
This is true.
Arizona.
That's the positive. Yeah.
I like your mindset and your mind process right there. But Arizona's not in quarantine. We're all eating at restaurants and doing all kinds of crap now.
Yeah, I'm at somebody else's house and I was shaking hands. It's pretty normal life around here.
My bad.
We were all eating tacos. It's pretty normal here. We're not in California.
Poor California. Jesse, you should come to hang out, dude.
Yeah, it's too hot out there.
I think we would all agree.
Good answer. Hey, I want to talk to you too about going to Texas. I think you got a works race that weekend, though, don't you?
I haven't double checked. I haven't even looked at the schedule. I just heard from somebody that we were racing this weekend, and my car is still in pieces, so I got to get it back together. And
dude, why are you talking to us though, man? You know how long that stuff takes.
I know, that's what I was doing, and I was like, hey, I'm still working on stuff.
Man, well, yeah, we can let you get off the phone. That's pretty sweet, though, that I think we're all amped to do all the Supercross stuff. I think it's going to be pretty rad to watch it twice a week now, too.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of racing, though, for the guys, I'm sure, just at that level. Cade knows how it is. It's tough, especially that quick of a turnaround each time.
See, I don't think it'll be that bad. You know, they're going to cut out our free practice, so that's one less practice we have to do every day.
Right.
And I mean, come on. I mean, we got 2 days off and 3 days off. Like, that's pretty good. I mean, Jesse. I mean, I know like when you rode for Troy Lee and stuff, like you guys would go to the test track on Monday, like every week after a race. Like you guys would be at the test track Monday, ride Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, fly Friday. Race Saturday.
I feel like that's harder.
That's hard. That's
Dude,
tough.
Absolutely.
That's
I think
that's
the travel will be easy if they stay around there. But yeah, dude, on Saturday or on Sunday evening, we'd be hour on the bicycle every Sunday, and then back to the test track at 8 in the morning, and full solid week. And I don't know, we didn't really take any time off, but maybe if you got like your own program or something, you can kind of, do your own thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and so Cade was telling us, Jesse, that you said, when does it start on Sundays then? Your main events are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I know it's super early on Sunday, like it's a midday thing. I think
no spectators? Or?
Yeah, no spectators. But
he said 900 people max.
Yeah, 900 people, and that's like Feld people, track crew, everybody. But yeah, then I think the heat races are at like 1 or something like that. But then the Wednesday night races are normal. Like,
oh, wait. What are they going to do about West and East then?
So it's East, 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 West, West, East, East, West shootout.
Oh, okay.
So a mix at that last or whatever.
Yeah, which I wonder how they're going to do that.
Right?
Because
how are you going to qualify into it? Or
or are they just
top
going to
10,
only
top 10 in points at the last one?
Well, I think they'll invite 20 from each coast then maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
How would you feel about something like that, Jesse? That's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. I mean, it's kind of cool though. A lot of these guys are making history right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be like whoever wins the championship or even competes in this race, like any of them, they're going to be part of history that something has never happened before, and I don't know if it ever will.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays. Hopefully it stays a positive history, not one of those. Oh well, so and so won because.
That's what I was going to ask Jesse.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't.
Like, do you think like it gets tainted at all? Like if Kenny wins, it's like, oh, Kenny won a championship in 2020, but it was like
it doesn't count.
It was that championship.
Yeah, I wonder.
They're still doing all 17 rounds, right?
Yeah, good point.
I'm sure the haters.
I don't see why anybody would say that.
I'm sure there's going to be some keyboard warriors and haters that have an opinion on it.
There's always keyboard warriors.
There always is. You could cure cancer, and somebody's going to say something negative about it.
Totally true.
It's just the internet,
Well, going on the opposite end of that spectrum, what do you think positive will come from this? Like, first of all, when I think about it from a business perspective, there's tons of cool stuff. Yeah. Definitely.
I'm kidding.
I definitely think that there's cool shit that could come from it, though, because now, like, let's just say 21, 22, 23, whatever these years to come, there could be a lot of different things that happen in the Supercross races that are better now. Mm-hmm. Like quicker thinking, quicker execution, like all this stuff.
Yeah,
so
you got to get efficient. I mean, everybody has to get this thing to work with the amount of time they have. So, which brings up a question. What do you guys think? You said less practice, right? So we all know what that's going to be like, but do we feel like the tracks suffer from that?
So I have heard that
toned down a
someone
touch,
talked
maybe?
to Mike Mewey from Feld, and they said the first few tracks are going to be more tamed down to make sure that everyone gets back up to speed before they like.
And that's a smart move.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, so that the riders don't wad themselves up?
Well, I mean, they don't want to lose 10 dudes at the first race. That would not be
terrible.
Great. Because dudes start getting hurt, then they got to invite other people who weren't at the first one, and then they might not have full gates, and then it's just awkward.
Yeah, it's huge. Huge
well, and then all
implications there.
All of the testing and everything to get people cleared and to be able to do it again, too.
Exactly.
That's freaking nuts, man. So all this stuff
huge. All these logistics are insane.
I'm sure they have this Bible that's like got all kinds of stuff in it now that they have to abide by.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man.
Well, I know Utah's working with them as well because the Utah Sports Commission was already working with Feld to get that last round. So like they were already had like a good relationship. So I think that's where all this unfolded from.
That's nuts. Who else have you talked to, Jesse?
Yeah, I was curious too. So with that quick a turnaround, are they going to be doing all new tracks? Are they just going to switch them around? Backwards?
They do it like the old core days, and they just do it backwards.
Yeah, we just flip it around. Really. We're gonna jump the finish line backwards. No, I have no idea. I'm sure they're gonna change. They'll at least change rhythms. I'm sure they'll maybe make a berm, a straightaway, something like that.
Yeah.
Like
maybe the whoops will just stay in the same spot every time.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Might hit them differently.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but I mean, we'll see. I think that's the least of their concerns at this moment.
It's going to be way interesting.
How would you feel if you were in the mix right now, Jesse? Because like to me, the confusion is what like is the worst part about it. I guess you'd have to be more like Cade's attitude and just be like go with the flow and just go out there and do your job.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're still doing the same thing. I would just be more concerned about how far into the off season is outdoors going to go.
That's what I would be thinking about. And I don't know. I guess a lot of these guys got more time off just in this quarantine than they've had in years, you know?
That is pretty crazy. So what is that going to do? Are you going to do any outdoors this year or no?
I might do a few.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure yet. Our plan isn't to do many. We might do some Canadian rounds, but yeah, I mean, outdoors is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I was going to say most people are going to be behind the gun now, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of guys started riding outdoors. None of us really wanted to just keep pounding the laps on a Supercross track. So, like, a lot of outdoor guys were getting ready. But
do you know, either you or Jesse might be able to answer this question? Do you know anybody that said, "Fuck it, I'm not worrying about Supercross. I'm just going to focus on outdoors right now"?
I honestly don't know anybody that said that, but I think maybe some guys, I don't know, they got a chance to prove themselves, potentially get a better ride for the next year, potentially get a pay raise, extension of their contract. You never know. Yeah,
and there's some guys that went, like RJ Hampshire went and fixed his knee, didn't he?
Yeah, that's shitty for him.
Yeah, so he's out. But then there's guys like Cincerillo that get to come back and whip it up with the big boy.
There's probably like 10 or 12 dudes that were out.
Yep,
that are all back now.
Who else was out?
Tickle, Osborne.
Oh, so they're all back now.
Osborne's out?
He was hurt.
Now he's back, though?
Now he's back.
Dang, it's going to be sweet then.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait. This is like Anaheim 1 for me.
It is.
Dude, it's like Anaheim 1 all over again. Yeah, because basically everyone's healthy.
I feel like it's going to be like that for 3 weeks, like every time. You have to have the right mindset because some of those guys start slow, like you said, come on hot, later, and some of them are like looking for opportunity and they're just like, go.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, it's going to be like the last chance qualifier every time.
It totally is.
I mean, that's how it's probably going to be, though.
I don't know. Guys are going to be thirsty, that's for sure.
For sure.
But, I mean, you have to remember, like, Chad Reed was in every LCQ for the first, 8 rounds.
Right.
Like, that's how stacked it was. And it's going to be that stacked again. So you got to think about how many, factory dudes are going to be in the LCQ again.
No doubt.
It's just an amazing opportunity for someone like myself.
Dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the attitude to have. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
No, it is. It is.
100%.
Sweet.
Well, thanks for calling, Jess. We really appreciate it, man. I'll hit you up on a text or whatever. We can see if you're going to go to the Works races. The Miller boys said that one of them was going to go to the Works race and one of them was going to stay in Texas, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that Texas track looks insane cool. Like so cool.
Yeah. Looks so fun.
And I guess Scott Champion's dad is the one that bought it.
Interesting. Yeah. I'd like to go there. It's definitely a haul though.
Yeah, it's a huge, well, especially for you too. It's only 13 hours for us in Arizona, so it's not too bad. But
no,
I was telling Casey about it. I don't know if I told you, Cade, but so they have a side-by-side track in Texas. It's a place called Texplex. They got they got motocross and all that stuff too. But it's like motocross for a side-by-side. It's not like Lucas and off-road like that stuff. But they have these I don't know if you guys remember Anaheim 1 95, 96, and they had these wall berms that the dudes would just stand up. They wouldn't even put their legs out, and they'd rail these big wall berms. They got those for side-by-side. So you come lands sideways in your side-by-side off a table, and you can just pin it like a freaking and just ride a wall around through a berm. It looks sweet, dude.
That's cool.
So I'm pumped to go ride the side-by-side out there, that's for sure. If you don't make it, Jess, I'll tell you how it is, and we'll figure out if we can go there again because they have races all the time.
Yeah, I want to go check it out one of these days.
Dude, it looks like you would do so good. When I noticed how good your throttle control and everything was at that last Works race, if you could get on a motocrossy track, you'd probably rip everybody.
The Havasu track's a very interesting course.
You almost went OTB on that water jump?
Oh, yeah. Don't remind me.
So, do you guys race the weekend before or the day before, the Moto Works guys, or how does that stuff work? I'm totally.
It's different. He does. I never did Works racing. Jesse does Works racing. It's on a totally separate weekend because it's so big now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like Red Bud Nationals. How many people show up?
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you're talking to a guy who knows very little about off-road stuff.
Yeah, well, Jesse and I both talk about it all the time. We would way rather have to deal with 2 wheels.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, for sure. It's still super fun though. I like it.
It really is. So, and I'm going to come out there, I think, in July, too, and hang out with the Honda boys. So I'll come hang out with you guys. We'll go eat tacos.
Oh, it'll be so hot.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for calling. I hope you get all your stuff done. Let me know if you need anything before the races.
I appreciate it, and good luck this coming races, Cade.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, homie. We'll see you later,
All right,
Jess.
see you
Thanks.
See you, Jess. Take care.
So you really like tacos?
Sometimes.
It's kind of insane.
I think it's been brought up a lot in the last 2 hours.
Hey, so did you read the Brian Hawkins? Oh man, George, I could.
Oh,
he's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's just all these people running with him.
So that did happen to me a couple times. I just had people start coming in behind me, but the problem is I'm too slow, and then they end up going by. So,
It always happens on the path.
Yeah.
Like, you just end up in a peloton all of a sudden.
Exactly.
The
So
path is a death wish right now.
Dude, it's bad.
Because
There's
it's awesome that everybody's out. I love it. Like, that's the positive. But the negative part is, like,
Everyone's out.
don't brave it.
Yeah.
Just stay away if you're trying to.
Well, it's like there's because it's a very retired, community around
Yep.
here. So you got all the old folks out there on their bicycles
and they're
and
just trying to
walking.
have a good time. That's why I'm
Exactly.
like, I'll just stay away.
Yeah, for cyclists, it's not a great place
No,
to be right
it's
now.
not.
the king of the path on Strava.
Yeah. There's a lot of those, actually.
Is there really?
There's a lot of.
It's bad. There should be a speed limit.
Yeah.
I think it should be like 16 miles an hour.
Yeah, there you go.
it's dangerous sometimes.
Okay, well, it looks like we have a little bit of slow internet connection, so we're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to get into to Cade's story. So it's going to be pretty awesome to hear about all that stuff.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So we're going to take a commercial break. We will be right back.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
like a first
truck.
aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
All right, we are back, and what we forgot to do was give away this Solderweld off-road repair kit. So not that one. We're not giving away this one. This one's my personal one.
Yes.
But that one's brand new, so we can't open it.
Never open
But let's do a little visual. So everybody, this is Vanessa from Solderweld,
Hi.
and she's been.
I got to be here before.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's my second time.
Yeah. Well, I think you're the second time attendant. Dude, high five.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought.
Winner.
There you
We're
go.
going to consider that a win
All
for
right,
sure.
great. There's champagne or.
Yeah.
All right.
White Claws. We got tequila. I think we got all that stuff. No champagne though. We're not that bougie.
It sounds like
Dr.
a party. I'm good
Pepper.
with
Yeah.
White Claw's my thing. I'm good with it.
Okay, so in these Solderweld off-road repair kits, maybe you could hold that one up, the camouflage one. So we're going to give away this camo Solderweld off-road repair kit. These things are bitchin'. They're basically a first aid kit for your UTV or actually any type of off-road vehicle. You could fix a dirt bike. You could fix anything with them, a truck, a Jeep, anything.
Work truck.
Yeah, work truck. And a lot of HVAC guys actually use this same stuff. But this is all in a kit, so you can take it with you and do any type of side-by-side fix on the road or anything like that. So they have different things in them. They have different rods, so you can bond different types of metal in them. They got a cleaning brush, obviously a rag. There's
The two different kinds of flux.
right, the two different kinds of flux depending on what types of metal you're bonding, and there's also some hot block I think in there as well.
There is.
And so that stuff, and sometimes the hot block we haven't even used like to do the metal bonding. We've used it for certain things like keeping heat like away from a certain piece like on the motor, just in case you need to move it. So that stuff's super cool. So anybody that doesn't have one, please go down to your local four-wheel parts dealer and ask them to start stocking these things, because these things are super cool. Casey took one home the other day and he said people are already asking him where to get them, right?
Yeah, they're pumped.
Yeah, it fits easily wherever you need to tuck it in, and it's got some nice little things you can use to hook onto the bars. It Doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but
Yeah,
you'll
so
be thankful you have it.
You can see it's barely any bigger than my phone.
Yep.
So
So
there's
there's a little instruction card too, right?
yeah, it's pretty small, and then it has these straps on the back and everything. It's really cool, man. And so we carry these, and we've used them a bunch to say, so save our race and save our ride. Isn't that your guys' motto?
Rescue our ride.
Yeah, rescue your
our
ride.
race.
So these things are pretty cool. So what we did for the contest was somebody is going to win this badass camo one, which I got the black one. The camo one I think is really, really cool.
Somebody that followed the directions.
Yeah, so we're going to see because
Instagram contests are hard. There's a lot of directions.
dude, they really are. So I'm going to go to the profile here, and we got, let's see, which one was the contest one? We have a lot of comments here. So we're going to have to go through all these comments. So I'm going to start at the top, open up all these comments, and then we'll have I'll flip them, and then you press on one. Don't look at them.
All right, I'm not looking. This is going to be random.
So I'm going to go down.
Okay.
Go ahead and pick one.
All right.
Go ahead.
Am I in the right spot?
Sure.
Okay. Who'd I pick?
Sinister Eco Beast.
Sinister
Eco Beast.
Eco Beast. That's a dope
All right.
name.
That is a pretty cool one. So maybe he's got like an Eco Boost truck or something. So hold on though. He might not have followed the directions, or even I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. So Sinister Eco Beast. Let's see if you guys ended up sharing it on your story, because that's the most important part. If you guys didn't, then we're gonna be in trouble, man. Let's see here.
Help us out.
Yeah.
Help us out, yes.
Sinister.
So while we're looking, I'm going to go ahead and give you the social media perspective on Instagram contests and how important it is
Love to hear
to
it.
very carefully follow the directions on Instagram contests, because I have to say I work in social media and I've done a lot of them. And
yes, they did.
Yay! Yay!
Jackpot.
Very
Okay.
Often someone will forget that last part and disqualify themselves.
So awesome. That's really, really cool. So this is the first time for us to just having somebody follow all the directions. All right. So Sinister Eco Beast, you better be watching and DM us, because if you don't, then we're going to have to give this away to somebody else. So I think you're going to be stoked on this. So
yes, you're going to love it.
Make sure you DM us and let us know where we can send that bad boy. So thanks, Vanessa. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you coming.
Thank
Did
you.
you
It was a
enjoy the
pleasure.
tacos?
We had tacos tonight, so I have to tell you again, being an East Coaster, I have never understood how amazing tacos can be, and they were so good, so good.
Sweet.
Yes.
Not Taco Bell, huh?
No,
Not Taco
yeah,
Bell.
even they're not Taco Bell tacos. Like I really did think like the taco shells that you buy at the grocery store were the way you were supposed to make them. I had no idea.
These ones are pretty good. Yeah,
These are
I
amazing.
agree. So what have you been doing like since the quarantine and stuff like that? Have you guys been keeping busy at Solder World?
You know, we actually adapted pretty quickly, I have to say. I know if in hindsight, I would have bought stock in Zoom right away.
Tell me about it.
And Clorox.
And well, not even, honestly, Zoom was just the way to go. And, we were talking about, because, one of the big things that Solder World does is goes and does on-site training for HVAC and plumbing and, how to use the products and how to, use them well. But that was something that all of a sudden came to a screeching halt. So, Lance did a couple of trainings one-on-one with people via Zoom.
That's
and
awesome.
it was pretty amazing to be able to do that. But, we did, I have to say, from the Solder World perspective, and again, like I work in social media, I work in digital media, I get to see a lot of the kind of inbound communication. And I have to say, again, someone who worked from home, I was complaining about the quarantine, a little bit upset about the fact that I wasn't able to go out. But then I was faced with the number of essential workers that worked in these industries, and they didn't get a break at all. It just got harder for them, which made us kind of realize like we need to hustle harder to support people that are out there.
Guys.
Yeah, it was. And
you guys did
hard.
do a bunch of good stuff, so I really appreciate you guys supporting those guys too, and obviously supporting the show, and Lance always having our back, so it's super cool.
Yeah, thanks you. We appreciate it, and he loves you. He's always got you.
Yep, and now they're going to have everybody at Rice Eccles Stadium up there in Utah, so he's going to be right around the corner from the Supercross guys too.
That's awesome.
Okay,
I'm excited. Okay, thank
you
you guys again for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You are so welcome.
I learned so much.
Thanks for coming in. Send me the pictures that you took today.
Oh,
too.
absolutely. I will. Yep.
Okay. If you don't mind, when
I'm
you
gonna check out.
Yeah, when you dip out, tell Cade to come back in here.
Okay, we'll do.
So thank you very, very much to the Solder World guys for doing that giveaway with us. That was super, super cool. I know that a lot of people have been asking how to get these Solder World off-road repair kits. You can always go to solderworld.com and get the off-road repair kits there. You can use the code DIRTLIFE and save a whole bunch of money on those kits and put one in your UTV. You can check out our Instagram. We have links to the Solder World Instagram, and check them out. And always also go down to your 4-wheel parts dealers and tell them that you want them to start stocking the Solder World off-road repair kits. I think they're going to be a big hit with all the overlanding guys and everybody else too. So, all right. So again, thank you to the Solder World guys. Now it's time to get a little bit of your background. So both Casey and I know that you race dirt bikes, but how did it all get started?
Was there a PW50 involved?
No, a Honda 50. There was a Honda 50.
That's
but
close.
So
I didn't start on the Honda 50. Though.
PW50s are like gold for most of our guests. Like
Everyone had one.
everybody had one. Like, and we're talking people like nowadays and people like a billion years ago. Like
They were the
everybody.
exact same model,
So
probably.
yeah, it is. You're right. Just bold new graphics.
So you grew up in Ohio though. So is there a lot of good riding spots out there? Do you live out in the country? Like, where did it all start?
I grew up on a horse farm. My
Oh,
parents
okay.
are horse trainers. So one of my parents' clients, their son raced quads. So sure enough, man, parents got me a quad.
Quad guide from a young age.
Yeah, started on the quad.
Were you a quad racer?
I raced quads for a little while. I only did like 1 or 2 races where I only raced quads.
Oh, really?
And I had the Honda 50.
Nice.
And then I started racing both. So I was
That's pretty
racing
cool.
quads and bikes.
Dang.
And I was getting pretty.
Doubleheader.
I was getting pretty good on both. I actually had a shop sponsor me on my quad. Had a couple quads, and then I remember one time I clipped another quad while we were racing on the landing of a jump and flipped over, and then it ran me over.
Whoa.
And I was pretty young, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to ride this thing anymore. I
many
just
wheels.
want to ride my dirt bike. And we sold the quads. Then it was just dirt bikes head on from there.
I would pick dirt bikes too.
Did
So
you ever race them in the same weekend?
Same day.
That's what I mean. Okay, so that's like.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole
back
nother-
to back.
That's a whole new level, dude.
So instead of being like ambidextrous where you can use each
That's what I'm
hand,
saying.
like he's like quad and dirt bike ambidextrous.
Dude, like
it's like
straight
special
up,
teams.
There was times when like we'd take both to the line. Like I'd go to the line.
Really?
Like the races were so close because
That's
it was like
awesome.
Quad moto and then dirt bike moto right after? Hell yeah.
full on send.
That's pretty adaptive.
And like I would most of the time I would be like first or second in both classes.
That's
So
pretty
like
legit.
it was just normal to me.
That's
Oh, man.
cool.
I actually think that's
But now looking back on it, it sounds super weird.
No, actually, it doesn't.
super
That
weird.
sounds awesome.
Talking to us,
I
it doesn't
love
sound
it.
weird at all because both of us started on not 2 wheels as well. So,
Okay. Would you start on 3 or 4?
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
that old.
yeah. I don't think I ever had my own 3-wheeler, but I did have a 4-wheeler. So,
LT80.
yeah, that's right. That's what it was. It was called LT80.
Yep.
And my sister had one that looked like a little truck. It was a Yamaha and had a CVT,
Yeah.
and it looked like a little tiny truck, a little blue truck. That was
exactly
pretty cool.
what you're talking about.
So we went to like growing up in the dunes and stuff like that. So did you guys have a lot of places to like just ride, or did you go straight into racing?
I mean, not like here. I feel like everyone kind of learns in the desert, right?
Right.
Where I'm from, you either ride at a track or you ride in someone's backyard. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
Like, there's like 1 or 2 free ride spots in like all of Ohio.
Okay.
It's not like here where it's like you go a quarter mile down the road and that's where someone unloads their bike out of their truck and they go ride in the desert for
yeah.
a few hours. But there's a lot of practice tracks. Here there's like, 1 every hour.
Right.
In Ohio, like there will be one down the road from another one.
So it's more like people go to parks to play baseball stuff. You guys would go to a facility to be able to ride and stuff.
always.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it's still one of the reasons we want to have you on the show was because you still basically grew up in the dirt. You grew up on a farm. You grew up, having the opportunity to go ride these tracks and stuff. So from a young age, you were still learning, whether it was on a PW50 or not. You still learned how to probably work on your own bikes, manage some of the farm stuff. Like your parents probably taught you a whole bunch of stuff.
When it came to dirt bikes, my dad knows very little
Okay.
about working on motorcycles. So I grew up knowing very little about working on motorcycles. Like if I was putting a new tire on, my dad was taking the tire to the shop down the street.
Gotcha.
It was like he was not one for working on it. So then I didn't actually learn how to work on bikes until I went to Georgia when I was 16. So like
Crash course?
Crash course. I had a mechanic, but he taught me everything, and it was awesome. I actually learned how to work on my stuff, and I really enjoyed it.
And the right way the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't very good at it for a while. I stripped out a lot of bolts, but that's just how it was for me. But as far as the farm stuff, man, I grew up on horses.
Yeah.
you know, it was funny because when I growing up, I would play with toy dirt bikes all day. All day long. Like, it was just my jam, you know, like from the time I was, you know, big enough to hold one until, you know, whatever. I was always playing with them. I was always like, I was probably a little old to be playing with them, to be honest.
That's okay, though. Yeah.
I think we were, too.
I still have toy dirt bikes over here in the studio.
Oh, yeah, we were checking them out.
So, did your parents ever let you bring your dirt bike in the house?
When I got my first KTM 50, it was under the Christmas tree.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
So that was probably the only time.
I got one opportunity, I think it was, and I got a dirt bike and I got to put it in my room for the night.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was so pumped.
I had a rope tied to mine. You know, like, here's the present, and it's got a rope or a string.
Oh, and you have to follow the
You
string?
have to follow the string to the garage.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
they
got
were
you.
letting you put it in the
I
house.
thought you were talking about, like, so when my brother was like 3, he got him a PW50 with training wheels. But my dad didn't want to, you know, worry about him crashing, so he tied a big horse rope, a lead rope.
Oh, so you can go around in circles?
So, well, no. So, like, if he got too far away or going too fast, he just yank on that thing and stop him.
And especially with training wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
Dude,
good.
okay, so
smart.
you didn't have a PW50, but you still have a story about a PW50.
Well, my
But
brother had a PW50.
he was a horse trainer, you said, right?
Yeah.
So he already knew what to do.
Yeah,
yank on
exactly. He just yank on the rope, man.
Oh, man, that's
pretty
perfect,
cool.
though.
And what's even better, like,
And you don't have to walk.
No, you just let him, you know, ride around in circles.
I'm so excited right now because I get another PW50 story.
You want a better one?
Yeah.
We have an indoor arena for my dad to ride their horses and stuff in
Right.
the winter. So when I was younger, I would, you know, practice starts and stuff on my 50 and stuff in there. Well, when my brother started riding, he would ride for like 15, 20 minutes in the arena on a PW50. Well, he got all squirrely one time and got throttle locked straight into the wall.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he was fine, cried, whatever. He was fine, though. Later that year, we were at a Loretta qualifier. I was racing, and he was trying to qualify on his PW50. Sure enough, my dad and brother are walking back, and my dad's pushing his bike. And I'm like, why does it look so weird? Kid snapped his frame. And they say that they think it was like pushed together and cracked, and then him riding from when he smoked the wall.
Dude.
So it was like full choppered out, barely stuck together.
So he whiskey throttled it into the wall that hard?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty hard, dude.
My brother's like better than everything.
So I don't know if
Than
do
me.
you know Ryan Sipes' brother?
Is it Justin?
Yeah. Everybody
yeah.
calls him Pooh Sipes. But anyway, so Ryan was on the show, and he was telling us, he's like, my brother is fantastic, excellent at everything. It doesn't matter what it is, he's good at it. So he was talking about all kinds of cool stories like that. Do you have other stories about your brother doing stuff?
I mean, probably something. I don't know. You'd have
Is
to
he
trust
is
my
he the
guess.
same as Pooh? He's like good at everything? Is that what you were talking about?
No, I was saying it sounds a little different. It might be a little different than
Are you the one that's good at everything?
I mean, I'm decent. I don't know. I feel like as I got
Strava King, remember?
as I got older, I like started to like understand things. So it was like, oh, okay, I could do that.
It changes
But when I
things,
was a
doesn't it?
kid, I would just try it and just wing it as an idiot, and
Yeah.
it like wouldn't work, you know.
See what happens?
Yeah.
What if you and your brother were about to battle on Strava? Would you smoke him?
He's like trying to get on Strava right now.
Oh, is
and
he?
He's he's got some work to do.
Is he still back in Ohio? Where
Yeah,
is he
he's
at?
back in Ohio living with my mom.
So
He's only 16. He just got his
Oh, right on.
license. So
Right on.
Well, there is a point that he's going to beat you, though.
sure, when I'm 80 and
Yeah.
can't walk.
That's what I meant. Like,
Just wait till 40, my brother.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, that's cool. So, is he your only sibling then?
I got an older sister too.
Oh, okay, cool. What was she into? The horses then?
She's into horses. She was into horses. She still is a little bit. She grew up. She was actually really good at it. She like went to Worlds a couple times.
No
did
way.
Really well. Yeah, she was really good. She never won, but I think she got a couple seconds and thirds.
Dude, that's cool.
So yeah, she crushed it at that.
Were you kind of a support mechanism for that too? Like when
I mean, I just went to hang out with chicks.
we won't tell Sarah that.
Oh, she knows, man. Trust me, she knows. So.
But I imagine that was big for your parents, though.
Oh,
right?
it was huge.
Yeah.
Like my parents would take a bunch of clients.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
Nice.
we were there for not just her but other
Sure.
people too. So it was yeah, it was really cool.
Makes total sense. So they still have the farm up there? Or?
My parents aren't together anymore, but my dad still has the farm, and my
Okay.
mom still works with horses other places. But
That's cool.
Yeah, he still does it. My sister, she shows a little bit now. She has a horse at my dad's house that he trains that she just shows up and shows sometimes. But
Because she's still into it?
yeah, she's still into it. She's trying to get her stepdaughter into it a little bit. So it's pretty cool to see.
That's actually kind of a cool little point to hear, though, too. Like, we're all talking about the dirt life and motocross and bicycles and all this stuff, too. But there's a whole nother dirt life, like, that we don't even know about. And that's, like, all the equestrian stuff and farming and ranching and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And, in fact, like, when we talk about side-by-sides and stuff like that, sports side-by-sides, the things that I'm into, aren't even, like, a 10% of the market. Like, most of it's ranch side-by-sides, like Polaris Rangers and stuff like that, which you probably had some of that at your dad's.
No, but my grandpa had one for hunting.
Oh, okay.
I told you that story already.
Yeah. So tell it again.
Oh, I've rolled it first day.
Yeah.
He told me he hadn't even drove it yet. My grandma had backed it into the garage for him, and I was out there doing something. He's like, Cade, you can go drive it if you want.
Do you remember what kind it was?
It was a red Rhino.
Oh, okay.
So
it's one of the little bit like slower, skinnier ones or whatever?
Maybe. I'm not sure. It was only a 2 or 3 seater.
How old were you?
Oh, probably 14.
And you just went ham?
Oh, what's really funny is it was Christmas Day, and my mom and I actually went out, and I drove it. He's got a big field with, like, some mowed trails and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we're driving it. She drove it, and she's like, all right, I'm cold. You can take me back. So I'm out there driving it by myself, a little bit more aggressive now that my mom's not in there.
I'm 14. I got this.
Yeah, sure. And I was drifting around a corner and caught a frozen chunk of ground because it was, there was snow, but it was more or less just frost. Clipped it right on its side, man. Yep, slid across the ground. Dude, I tried for 20 minutes to flip this thing back over.
They're heavy. It's not like a dirt bike.
And he had warned me. He's like, do not flip it. Probably 20 times. And sure enough, here comes my dumbass walking across the field, coming back to get help. And, he knew.
Did you blow the tire off it too?
No, it was good. We flipped it right back up, and I drove it back to the house. It was good.
Those things are bulletproof, man. I was talking to Brian Lopez, my crew chief, the other day, and I was telling him, I wish we still had our Rhinos because those things were just so solid. You could drive them anywhere, and they would never break. So that's pretty cool. So do you remember, like, you were obviously starting to, like, enjoy the dirt bike stuff. What was the time when you said, well, maybe I'll just not use the quad anymore. I'll start racing dirt bikes, and I'll start putting a little effort into this?
Well, I gave up the quad when I was pretty little. I was still on 50s.
Okay.
And then when I was on 60s, I was starting to get pretty good. I made it to Loretta's. Loretta Land's the first time. I don't know if you guys know. You know what Loretta's is?
Yeah, I've been.
That's no joke.
And made it there. I did really well at my regionals and stuff. Went to Loretta's. Got landed on. Got hurt pretty bad. Basically barely remember the entire week because I got such a bad concussion.
Oof.
And then I didn't make it for a few years, and I was just going to school, not really just kind of riding. You know what I mean?
Do you remember what age you were at that point?
I was like 12.
So was it like you didn't care about it, or were you just
I wasn't like pursuing it. If you know what I mean? Like I was riding, like I was trying, but it
You're
wasn't
just being a 12-year-old.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't like going to the gym every day, like trying to make this my freaking life. And then when I was 15 or so, I went to Florida for a winter and trained with AC.
Yeah.
And Freeberg and a couple other guys. And I got a lot better. And then that year I made it to Loretta's again, did pretty well. And my parents were like about to get a divorce and stuff. And my grandma actually stepped up and helped me a ton financially and helped send me to Georgia. And then when I went to Georgia, I actually got pretty good. I almost won a couple titles and stuff.
Were those times, like during that period of time, was that pretty gratifying? Because it sounds like, well, I guess we're talking about it in hindsight, so it sounds like it was a real short amount of time, but it was probably, 6 months or a year at those times? Or, like, you got fast quick then?
Yeah, I mean, like I spent, a winter in Florida with AC, and then I went home, and that summer I trained with Gary Semix.
Yeah.
And so that summer I got pretty good as well. Went to Loretta's, did well, and then the next winter, so it was about a year, and then
That's
I went to
a pretty
Georgia.
fast pace, though,
Yeah, it
dude.
is.
Yeah.
And this is what we were talking about before the show. Like, we were watching an old motocross race from Villapoto and stuff, and I asked you the question. I said, if you rode with Villapoto every day, do you think you could go that fast? Well, maybe not that fast, but
Faster.
you kind of did. Yeah, you could waste him. But you kind of did that same thing riding with AC, because at the point, you were both little and younger kids, but riding with somebody that's that fast, and then you step up to that, and then excel him. Like,
Oh, exactly. It's actually really funny. I actually told this story to a kid the other day when I was training him. When I was training with AC, I was on a toothy two-stroke practicing, and I was fat. I mean, I was okay. You know, I was like a intermediate rider.
Yeah,
nothing
B-class.
special. He was on a super mini,
yep.
and we rode with Freeberg. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was a Team Green guy, and in 20-minute motos, AC would lap me on his super mini
No way.
every single day. And
So
it was
you
just
definitely had
brutal.
to step up your game.
Oh, it was brutal, dude. Like getting waxed by this kid on a super mini every day. It was just. I was telling the story because I had a kid. You know, he was frustrated, and I was like, bro, this is frustrating. Like, don't worry. You know.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't got any problems right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, man, like I had to go through this. Like you're perfectly fine. Like
Yep.
don't worry about it. But like from there, you know, I see AC at the races sometimes, and we'll like talk about the past every once in a while. RC, his dad was kind of like he wasn't like our coach, but he was more of like our, you know, we had Tishner who did stuff, and then we had a program, and his dad basically enforced it. So I'll see him, and he's always super polite to me and stuff like that. We're not like super close or anything, but no, it was a cool time.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, again, another story that we were talking about before the show was I didn't have anything similar to that because I wasn't as close to them as you. But like when I went to my first Ponca on Loretta's, I was in the B class in 125s and 250s, and Ryan Villapoto was there, and he's the generation after me. And I did decent. I think I got like a third in 250B and like maybe a sixth in 125B or something. Like I was top 5 in the B class, which was an okay pace for a dude that's 14, 15 years old, right? Like I did okay. Not magnificent or anything. But the same kind of story like what you're saying with AC, like Villapoto was out there, and I don't remember whether he's on a 60 or an 85, but let's just say an 85 to give me a little bit more credit, right? And he was on his 85, and he was doing these doubles that there's no way I could get around my 250. Like, no way. Like, my skill set, my power, nothing. And he was just killing it. Like, and so the level of their riding ability and their skill set, you and I had talked about before the show again, is like, the things that they see and the pace that their mind can like concentrate must be so fast, like it must be slow motion, like what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
iRacing.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were just trying to like explain, you know, when we were talking about how like it's almost like their brain makes it come at you slower, and that's why they're able to go faster. Because it's like, in reality, like I feel like I'm going super fast when I ride. Right. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how I could go any faster. But it's like they're going 4 seconds a lap faster.
Yeah, and you're just like, where is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Show me that.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere.
So
bit.
was it kind of the same way? Because like in the radio control world, like we talk about with your stuff, when you're battling with those radio control guys, some of them look like they're just like going super slow, just like methodically crawling around the track. Like when I did it, I was like way out of control, like freaking out. Like there was no way that my brain could keep up with how fast the little reactions worked.
Yeah, some of those guys it's amazing what they can do. Like a Mayfield is like, I don't know if there's anybody on the planet that has as much talent as he does, and it's like, it just happens. Like you
so
said,
it's kind of the same thing we're talking about, like how they see it, like how they visualize it and
totally
stuff. That's crazy, man. It's pretty cool to see that though. And so you got to ride with those guys, and it obviously excelled your riding ability pretty quick. What was like the next milestone that you took?
I don't know. Like I said, I went to Georgia, and I was training down there with Nario Izzy, Nico's dad. And there were some really fast dudes there. And then that year at Minios and Loretta's, and then the next year at Minios, I did really well. I got like some seconds. You know, as an amateur, I never won a title, which is like a real bummer for me looking back. You know, I never got that one time where I got a number 1 plate. But I mean, I had, you know, a lot of really good finishes that were like promising to like really good dudes. Like I remember at Minios a couple times, I think I lost to Jordan Smith just like by a little bit. Like I remember one moto he passed me on the last lap.
Yeah.
You know, for the title, and it's just like shit. That's a bummer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's you know, that stuff. You know, it hurts, but I mean that's how it is. But you know, besides that, I mean, there was nothing really super significant. You know, my grandma helped me out basically all the way until a year or two after I turned pro. So she was always like my biggest supporter, you know, helping me get to the races and stuff. So I never really had that one thing that was like catapulted me to the top, you know.
Those support mechanisms and stuff, and well, you already realize it, but you'll realize it even more. Like all of the stuff that like we went through, Casey had an opportunity that was similar. He had his family supporting him, and his dad told him, hey, you know what? Like you either go get a job or I'll give you 1 year and support you for 1 year, and you got to just do it. So he had an opportunity and I had a support mechanism from my family to be able to do it. You know, my dad would drive across the country, you know, taking me to all the races and stuff. And all of those little things, like, really remind you, like, how valuable life is. Because one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, do you remember anything from your past that was, like, a really special moment? Because for me, it was nice to win races, and it was nice to have good motos and stuff like that. But I'll always remember the times when we were traveling across country. Like one time my dad and I were traveling to Ponca City and Loretta Lynn's, and on the way back we were going through Arkansas, and we lost a wheel on the trailer, and it lit the whole freeway on fire. And then my dad, and I had a broken tailbone because I broke my tailbone at Loretta's. But anyway, so he gets out, he's trying to stomp the freeway off. But it's like a mile of freeway, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no way one human being can do it. Like even the fire truck got there, and they're like, "No, we're just gonna let it burn." Like, so, and I'm hobbling around with a broken tailbone, looking for a tire out in the weeds, and like, so those things are really, really memorable and valuable as like, you know, bonding experiences with family and like.
Oh, totally. Like, I mean, I remember plenty of times when either with my dad in the motorhome breaking down, or with my grandpa or with my mechanic and our buddies, and it's just me, my buddy, and my mechanic, and we all go to the races. And, you know, imagine two 18-year-old kids and a mechanic going to a race and just causing a shit show. Like, you can only imagine the kind of shit that we got into, you know? Like, so, I mean,
do you remember any like specific times, whether it was with your family or not, that was like a really memorable experience?
Oh, man.
Other than your brother running into a wall?
Other than my brother running into a wall.
I can see the
Dude,
bike.
I had my family came to so many races.
That's super cool.
My whole, like, I mean, like, my whole family. Like my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my grandma, my grandpa. Like, awesome. my grandparents took me to an endless amounts of races. Like,
that's why you're talking about thank God I don't have to give away guest passes.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's like, and then I got friends, like, everyone at the races needs a guest pass. And it's just like, dude, I don't have that many.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to buy them.
Yeah.
So do you remember any like special times when your family was there or anything?
Dude.
Or even traveling maybe?
Dude, traveling is something that always, it's either like super good or super bad. My sister and I, we used to get into it all the time in the motorhome driving down the road, and like we would just like stupid things. I remember one time driving to a race, I had just gotten a brand new trailer, and my grandpa had got it for me, and my dad, we just left the house. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning, dude. Now I'm not old enough to drive yet or anything, and I had my little brother who's like probably 3 or 4, and I'm like carrying him to the back of the motorhome so we could lay down and go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. And my dad was adjusting the mirror of the the camera on the back of the motorhome so he could see the trailer. Yeah. And this guy drives across the road, you know, on accident, obviously, and kind of goes off the road and hits this like barrier wall. Oh, no. And dude rips off the whole left side of the motorhome and the brand new trailer, dude. And when he had hit the wall, it
ripped it off, so it was like open
there's
air?
like not like that, but like there's bins and then like the backside of the trailer. So yeah, the trailer was like open air.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, dude, it was bad.
Did it just stop the whole?
No, it just like, so it like jerked the motorhome like crazy bad because obviously you hitting a wall doing 45 miles an hour. And I like threw my brother and I against the closet in the motorhome. And I like smoked my head and I like dropped him onto the bed, luckily. And he was fine. He was crying, but he was fine.
You got broken ribs.
Yeah, right now. And So, like I said, brand new trailer. And the reason my dad was driving was because the trailer was a little bit longer with the motorhome, and my mom didn't want to pull it out of our driveway in the dark.
Oh, really?
So my mom had, she was driving we were on our way to Florida for a horse show, and we'd take my bike so I could ride. But we stop at the truck stop just down the road from our house, and my mom was in front of us, so she didn't have a clue.
She didn't know yet? Oh, no.
And my dad pulls into the gas station, and
Oh.
he like pulls under the lights, and I'm sitting in there, and I could just see the look on her face, like, what the did you just do to our
Holy
like
cow.
it was bad. Like, it was really bad.
Did you guys continue on the trip?
Oh, dude, straight to Florida. My dad threw some duct tape on everything, and
Did he make a good story? So when you guys showed up, you could like.
dude, I remember my mom was so
It was
mad.
a tornado,
Dude,
I promise.
brand new trailer. First time it had gone anywhere. My mom was, oh my God, she was so mad.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
And
like,
that's probably only one of like many stories
dude,
that you could remember.
endless
Yeah.
amounts of stories. Like, it's hard for me to remember like it's easy to remember the bad ones, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
They end up being the good ones.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, the ones to remember.
I remember
Yeah.
like one time I was at a race and I was set to make it to Loretta's, and last moto of one of the classes, and I freaking cartwheel my brains out. Concussion, broken collarbone.
class?
Schoolboy. First
Yeah.
year in schoolboy. And my parents were on their way to the race in PA. My grandpa had taken me. And so all I remember is waking up in the hospital, and my mom and dad were there. And I'm like, wait, you guys weren't here before.
Where's Papa?
Yeah, exactly.
Dang,
And
you
then he
cartwheeled
was
that
there.
hard?
Yeah, well, no, but I was like, now I realize. But like when you wake up from a concussion, it's like
It's weird.
It's like, what is going on right
Yeah.
now, you know? So like, dude, stuff like that, and then them showing up, and it was just like nothing ever happened. Being the last motorhome in the parking lot is like always the worst feeling.
Yep.
You know, you like show back up at the track, and you're the only rig sitting there, like completely unpacked.
Do you remember any of the opposite like that, like a special moto that you had, like where you were just on fire that moto?
I remember.
Maybe it was well, I was going to say PW50, but you didn't have one. Maybe it was a 50 race.
Definitely no 50 races because I sucked when I was on a 50. I have like the funniest photos from when I was on a 50.
Well, you obviously remember stuff. Oh, yeah, we played some of the
Yeah.
photos. So you obviously remember some of the stuff like when you were battling with or riding with AC.
Yeah, no
So-
battling.
Did you have times like so like one of the times that I remember, and I've said it a bunch on this show, is like I was at Glen Helen and I was battling with like a older guy named Sean Hamlin, and we had like amazing moto. I was on our Suzuki 80 at the time, and I got a good start, but I got taken out in the first turn, and I was like way back, like almost a lap down. And by the end of the race, I had done so well, and I felt so good. It was just like one of those races that you're like Ricky Bobby, you don't even remember what just happened. And then at the end but I remember being at the finish line and being a wheel away from winning the moto and passing him. And I was just like, I remember the feeling that I felt was just like,
It's like it's not even happening.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
riding. Yeah, it's almost easier when you fall in the first turn and then you just don't care.
Yeah,
you know, Then
exactly.
you just ride,
Totally.
right? I mean, my dad always says I ride better when I get a bad start. Because
Yeah.
it's like then I just start passing people and it's just like it's just brainless and then you just start
Yep.
doing what's
The
natural.
pressure's off.
Yeah. But like if you get like I remember I've never won an LCQ ever.
yeah.
Which is weird because I've gotten second like 1,000 times. I was winning the Seattle one time, crashed in the whoops, got
Uh-oh.
up, and I still made it because I had such a big lead. But it was like I've hole shotted plenty of LCQs, never won one. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I've came from 10th to make it plenty of times.
That's crazy.
It's like I have this weird niche in my brain where I just can't win LCQs apparently.
Maybe
Did
it's,
you
maybe it's a good thing.
Maybe.
Maybe it's the curse of the winning the LCQ that you don't want to have.
Yes.
Well, did you get good hole shots and stuff when you were an amateur?
Nah, terrible. Always been a terrible starter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never been good at it for some reason.
So then, do you have any motos like that then that you remember? Well,
Dude.
even if it wasn't an amateur, maybe it was in a pro race.
I have 1 year at Minio's. I think I was in the B class. I got a terrible start. Terrible. I was freaking pitiful. Oh no, I was on a 125. Okay, yeah, I was on a 125, and I was coming through the pack, and I remember going by. It was one of the Suzuki dudes. He was riding there. It was a team. I don't remember what it was called, but It was a full-on, semi-amateur team. They had the semi and everything, whatever. So it was like, oh, man, I want to be on that team. And I remember just blowing by this dude.
Oh, because you were like, yeah, I'm going to show him.
Yeah, exactly. And I went by, and then I ended up getting like second or third. And at Minios, that's not like a huge deal. You get
that's
second.
Still pretty good, though.
And, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. And I remember, like, I was like, that was so easy. And then I think that might have been my best finish the whole week. And, like, the worst start I got all week. You know what I mean? And it's just, like, brainless, like, riding that's just sometimes the best.
Yeah, that's why everybody says, like, ride like you practice. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what my problem's been this year. It's like almost like I ride super good during the week, like super flowy, whatever, and then I get to the race and it's just like, dude, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like I'm a brick.
Dang, if somebody could like tap into the mental like brain thing and just like fix that, just like click it on and off.
Yeah, we just need to call Elon and just get one of those chips and we'll be good.
No,
dude,
don't take the chip.
Trust
me.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I was watching him on Joe Rogan the other day, and he was talking about he could fix like all the stuff that's wrong with me, like with just like turning a switch.
Yep, putting the chip in, it'll fix it.
Dude, and I'll probably kill all you guys on Strava too.
I don't know. He's
if I have the chip, though, dude.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, the chip.
I'm gonna turn my chip all the way like 100. That's cool though, man. Like I just love when you feel like that. Maybe like since now it's like, I don't want to say that you guys don't care, but it's different. Like for the next month that you guys have the last 7 rounds of the Supercross series, it's not like it just kept going. Like you have to build all this stuff. It's almost like it's just finishing. You know what I mean? So maybe there's a chance that things will be a little bit easier mentally for some people, maybe yourself, maybe some of these other guys, to be able to just go out there and ride like they practiced instead.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of the pressure's off. Nothing's really been going on. We've kind of just been sitting at home. Some guys have been able to ride more than others. But, I mean, I think that basically the pressure's off. I was telling somebody, qualifying's not as important now, so you can actually go out there and, like, learn the track and, like, practice and try different stuff. It doesn't really matter if you qualify 20th or 39th as long as you get in. So, I mean, like, what's really the difference there, right? So,
yeah.
You get into the race and then you race, and it's fine.
Just thinking about it like that is so much different than how it was Anaheim 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And think about what Shorter said about, I mean, it's different for everybody. Like, everybody. This is uncharted territory. So think of the veterans that are champions that have done this, right?
Right.
And they know what it's like to be this many rounds in. It's, we're getting towards May or whatever. But we're now like in May, and there's still 7 to go. Like nobody has this comfort level.
Yep. Yeah, it's super strange.
It should be
like
so
when people
weird.
practice like endurance sports or they practice sprint sports. Like it's going to be totally different.
Totally.
Well, it's going to be cool, and I'm really excited to see it.
Sure.
Well, going back to your life, so did you obviously did well in amateurs? Like you said, you still wish you would won some championships and stuff. But were you going to school, and like did you go to public school? Were you in private school? Like or were you homeschooled?
So when I was on 80s and 60s and stuff, I went to school. I went to school all the way through a freshman year, and then my sophomore year I went to a couple months, and then got homeschooled. It took a lot of convincing. My mom was not super sold on the idea, but I actually really enjoyed homeschooling. Like I did really well at it. Like I was super disciplined. I did a program that worked really well. So the homeschooling thing for me was simple. My mom didn't have to do anything. I had a teacher in every class. Like it was awesome. So like stuff for that was nice. I still went to like my homecoming and things like that because I still lived near there. I was still friends with a lot of those people. So I didn't really miss out on those childhood things. I feel like a lot of kids get homeschooled and then they don't learn social skills.
Yeah, that's one big point.
And it
can happen for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, it was like I was at horse shows and races and still hanging out with my friends from home. So it was like I still had that social interaction, so I wasn't like a weirdo. Where like some kids get homeschooled.
You're like a full introvert, yeah.
Yeah, and they never like hang out with other kids and they don't know like how things work, and it's not their fault. It's just like,
Right.
Do you have
Just
an
a
opinion
victim
on
of
the
circumstance?
Yeah, exactly. Do you have an opinion on the education portion of it? Because, again, going on the Dirt Life theme, I always think that it's better to teach a person how they learn, not put them in a situation to learn how they teach. So what I mean by that is, if a child is better at being taught by his mother and being an introvert and learning, whether it's unsocial skills or just learning regular things like math and science and stuff, and they're better at doing it that way, is it better to put them in a situation like that, or is it better to force them to go down the public school path?
Man, I don't know. I mean,
the reason I ask
I like public school because it almost like you almost build like a little bit of tough skin.
Exactly.
I feel like everyone has to deal with some controversy there, but my thing with public school is like I hate that they don't teach you more about life.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like I mean, how many times, like, I get it, like, there are certain jobs and certain things that require you to know how geometry works.
Right.
But, like,
nobody knows how to cook dinner.
Nobody knows how to cook dinner. Nobody knows how to do their freaking taxes.
Do the laundry.
Right? You know, like, I feel like there needs to be a life class, you know?
We were talking about that the other day, actually. We had a big discussion going on that, and I was feeling the same way. And that's kind of the reason I asked, is because everybody feels different about it. Some people love going to school.
Yeah.
They love it, and I'm the exact opposite.
Oh, my wife's the same way. She loves learning.
Yeah, there you go.
But me, like, I've read, like, 3 books in my entire life.
Yeah, I've never even finished a book.
Yeah,
ever.
so, like, I mean, for me, I mean, when I got homeschooled and I started to live on my own when I was 16, it was just me and my mechanic, I learned so much. Like, I couldn't imagine where, like, I would be at as a person if I wouldn't have had those experiences, like, you know, nearly burning down my motorhome, you know, cooking dinner or something like that, you know,
right.
or getting yelled at for slapping my mechanic in the face with shaving cream at some point, you know, like there's just like so many life experiences that I had on my own that I wouldn't have gotten to do or have had I been at home with my parents or, you know, things like that.
That's exactly why we started the show.
Like
exactly. This conversation is bar none one of the best examples of the reason we started the show is because of those life learning experiences. And it's called the dirt life because the dirt has taught us all this stuff. Like we were forced to learn all this stuff because of the way that we wanted to grow up. It's pretty cool to hear that, man. It really is. And I'm sure that your sister's not on the exact same boat as you. Like maybe she likes doing it a little different, but she probably has a lot of similarities in the.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So, and that's super, super cool.
And it's my sister and I are different because she went all the way through school. She went to school on their equestrian team. So like she.
Dang, they had an equestrian team at school?
Yeah, in college. A bunch of colleges in colleges, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, it's sick. So like she got to go to college and keep doing what she was doing. So like she got to experience, you know, a normal life with what she was doing. Like if a college had a moto team,
right?
Dude,
how cool would that be?
Dude, I've thought about that. Like if we could get a couple colleges to like, you know, use a moto track as their like home base.
Oh my god!
I heard in Southern California they got mountain bike teams.
Dude, they do. Yeah, for sure.
And they have moto high school teams all over the place.
Yeah, they have mountain bike teams in Tucson.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
High school does,
kids?
yeah,
high school.
It's pretty cool.
That's so cool, man. I'm going back.
I'm going back. I'm just
I don't like learning. I'm just going to participate in the mountain bike teams.
Yeah, right.
Have you tried one of those e-bikes? I know that you've been on Steve Mathis' Pulp MX show. Like, I want to get one.
Dude, e-bikes are sick. So
are they?
I went on a ride with him one time. I enjoy mountain biking.
Let's make sure Beamish isn't listening.
Dude, Beamish
he is. He already
listening,
chimed in.
and he's going to laugh at this. But I left with Steve and another guy. We were all on e-bikes. And we were cruising from the truck to the trail on like a little access road, dirt road, you know, whatever.
Fire road,
yeah. And sure enough, cruising next to a guy, we're chatting as we're riding, and I clip a rock, front end hops, lands on the crown of the road, front end washes, full freaking smack. Dude, road rash, like, dude, messed up my elbow. Yeah, dude, I should have gotten stitches in my knee. My knee's still screwed up from
big old chunk.
And I got up and I just started pedaling. I poured some water on everything. Of course, 2.5 hour ride.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't have been like, you know, a nice, easy, like, hour ride. Nah, we rode 2 hours in the dustiest conditions that you could possibly be. So I got home, everything's just covered in dirt. It was a terrible shower. But no, e-bikes are sick. I really like them. They're fun. In circumstances, like, I think they're awesome for guys who are like out of shape that want to get into it and ride with their friends who are really good at mountain biking. Like, there was a point in time when Steve could not hang with me on a normal mountain bike and him on an e-bike. But now he's ridden e-bike so much
He's
that
kind of building
I
up.
have to ride an e-bike to keep up with him.
Yeah, nice.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's getting to the point where we all give him crap. Where it's like, man, at some point you're gonna have to get
You
back
gotta
on
get
a
off,
normal
yeah.
bicycle, you know. But he likes the e-bike because he can cover so much more ground.
You really can.
You know,
yeah.
he can ride so much more trail.
So because Casey and I haven't been able to really try them, and I've been wanting to get one just because my legs aren't as strong as your guys, so it's a little bit more difficult. And I can do the road bike pretty good because it's safe, but like all the little torquey, going up a really steep, like even if it's 10 feet, but if it's really like you got to give it some pepper to get up it. Like I was thinking the e-bike would be super cool
Dude,
for that.
honestly, it would be super beneficial. You can climb up stuff that I could never climb up before. I mean, dude, if you ever get the opportunity, you should seriously try one.
Yeah.
You can take it from like you can go from like it's like barely helping you to like say you have to go up like a hard climb.
Yeah.
Like you can tap the button 3 times and it'll take it to like
Full
I think
juice
it's
or
like
something.
boost mode or something, and then like you'll still have to try, but it won't be like a max effort to get up this little thing that would be hard for
So it'd give me
yourself.
maybe it could just bridge that little gap. That would
exactly.
be super cool.
The guys at the bike park at Angel Fire, they had a few of them. They're like, you got to ride these. And we're like, no way, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll pay you $100 a piece if you can ride this thing in the parking lot and not smile. We're like, you're on.
And not smile?
We couldn't do it.
Dude, they're fun.
It's a blast. But so what they do is they ride because the lift's only open for so long.
Yeah. Also, they'll ride them when the lift's closed.
So they're riding. So they have their normal stuff, but then they have an e-bike enduro bike that they'll ride the cross-country trail up and then bomb down.
Oh,
So
dang, that's a good idea.
It's a great idea. So that way they're not, why run the lift if there's nobody there or if it's after hours or whatever. So they definitely have their place.
Yeah, that's cool. I wonder how, because I kind of wanted to start low on little on Fantasy Island and then start working my way up Mount Lemmon and stuff. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, for sure.
Well, one of these days I'll have to. Do you know anybody that wants to lend me one?
Yeah, right. That's the biggest problem with them is they're not cheap.
No, they're like that cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more than that.
More
cost,
than that.
actually.
Yeah, exactly. So you obviously like bicycle riding since we're talking about it, but what other stuff do you do? Like fishing, anything like that?
I used to love to fish, man. Now that I live in Tucson, I don't get to
Yeah,
fish
there's
very
nothing
much.
like that.
I fish. I do some hunting. I like to golf. I golf a lot.
That's cool.
I
A
do
lot of good golf
Love
courses.
Love
Yeah.
golf.
I really like working on my house. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I love home stuff, like getting to do stuff like that. I'm working on building a river table right now.
Congratulations on the new house, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I like doing some woodworking stuff. I've always wanted to build one of these river tables, so it's happening. I finally found
What's
the
a
wood.
river table?
So it's like where you take 2 live edge pieces of wood. You know what live edge is?
No.
It's like basically where they cut a tree long ways, and then you take the bark off, and then
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
the
I know.
edge.
Okay.
And then you took 2 pieces together, and then you fill the middle with epoxy,
Yeah.
so it looks kind of like a river.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
So
Dang, that's pretty cool.
So
That's a freaking patience is a virtue,
it's
dude.
a project.
I was gonna
let me
say
tell
though.
you.
How many YouTube videos?
Dude, I've watched 4 just today. I've been watching lots of. The guy I bought the wood from, he's like, "Man, you've been watching YouTube," and I was like, "Yeah, I have.
He's
Yeah, I
speaking
have."
the lingo.
Exactly.
Dude,
funny.
Matt, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's a project for sure, and that's how all my home stuff is going. I don't have a clue how to do any of this stuff, like fixing, whatever. It's just like YouTube, man.
Figure
Dude,
it out.
you're gonna have to start posting this on your Instagram stories and stuff, getting all these home guys into your.
You guys should have been there when I was changing outlets for the first time.
Oh boy.
It was like every outlet I took out, the wires on the backside were different, and then one was way too short, so I had to get all these plugs.
There may or may not be an expert about electrical stuff in the room.
Dude,
called me.
it was a project, man. Let me tell you.
So Casey's been working in that industry for a long time. He's set up a lot of stuff here too.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah. So if you ever need any, I learned something new the other day. Is that the 3 prongs in any wall. If you flip it upside down, so the single prong is at the top, it makes it so that it doesn't spark. So if anything falls on it metal, it hits the ground first.
Wait, dude. Okay,
That's
so
why they're like that.
wait, is that
sometimes.
important?
No,
Because
it's okay.
It's a safety.
no,
thing.
because there was the one in my closet was upside down. I was like, this idiot was too lazy to just flip this thing back over because I thought
It might have been the switched one too. Sometimes they do that.
Oh, okay.
Like the one that's actually
Like a
controlled by
GFI
the
or
switch.
something?
Well,
Oh,
actually,
the switch one. Okay, I got
where you plug your lamp in
Yeah.
and then Because some of them won't have a light.
So
right?
clearly
They'll
you're
just have
you're like us though. Everyone has to be the same.
Oh yeah,
you're like, what's this
I was
idiot?
like, why is this thing upside down, dude? Like, and it's in the closet. Like, it's not like you don't even see it. So
It
it's
still
like-
pisses you off though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I changed it because I redid our closet, so I fixed it, and I was just like, I thought the dude was just too lazy, but maybe now there was a purpose.
That's the OCD that comes from laying out your fender graphics.
Yep.
Oh no, I
perfectly.
can't do graphics. I don't
Oh,
do, I don't do graphics.
Okay.
No graphics
No,
for
I'm
Cade?
not a
He's
graphic
tapping
guy.
out.
Dude. It's like if you see me try to put stickers on, it's like,
Sponsor's not happy.
dude, they would lose their mind if I put my graphics on.
That's where
because
my OCD came
I'm
from.
so bad at it, man.
Yeah, I agree too. Like doing all the stickers back in the day. Excuse me. So you've obviously got the new house, and actually, I don't want to step that far ahead. So when did you realize, like, shit, man, maybe I can make some actual money doing this dirt bike racing stuff? Like, how old were you?
I don't know if I ever actually realized it. I think I was just
You
like,
just
I
loved it?
want to do it.
You didn't
And-
waste opportunity. At
Yeah,
least.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I would hate to be that person that's like, I don't think I can make it, and then 10 years later be like, man, I really wish I would have tried. Like, I would way rather fail trying than not try.
Right. Not
right?
leaving any cards on the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'd way rather, waste a year trying than,
Sure.
sit there and be completely worthless. So, I mean, I probably
How old were you at that time?
I turned pro when I was 18.
Yeah.
And probably when I was 17-ish, I was like, man, I really want to try, and like actually knew that wasn't gonna, other than that.
You had good support and you had good people helping you. When you think like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, but I don't know how to say this. A kid on a super mini was lapping me. Like, what the fuck am I going to, like, how do I get to that point? Like, where I'm just like, I got to go for this and I'm going to start killing it.
I think I more or less didn't look at it like I need to beat this guy, because it's like,
Right, but you understand yeah.
It was more of like, I need to close this gap.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So it's like,
Right.
it's like, how do I get, like, I'm not trying to go from like, say I'm at 50% and 100% is great. I'm
Right.
not trying to go from 50 to 99. I'm trying to go from, say 50 to 51.
Yep.
And then, maybe sometimes make the jump to 55, but then you got to take a step back. And it's like, it's just like baby steps to get a little bit better all the time.
That makes a huge difference in the mentality portion of it,
Well, it
too.
just makes it way simpler too.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
when I tell kids when I
Obtainable.
work with them, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to get you to go from 5 miles an hour to 100. I'm trying to get you to go from 5 to 6.
Yep.
And then from 6 to 7. Like,
Right.
we're not trying to make huge gains here. We're just trying to improve.
That's what Casey and I always say a lot on this show, too, is just eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then sooner or later it'll get to it.
I just remember thinking I want a 2-digit number. I didn't get there, but little baby steps, just like you said. Okay, I need 2 points
Yeah.
or whatever outdoor point.
And then I could get
Yeah,
like
exactly,
98 or
right.
something.
But that's how I always. I mean, a similar mindset was that I'm just going to go the best I can and then improve that next little bit. But because it's hard, like you say, when I think you have those days too where you're just like, this dude's on a freaking super mini.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
Yeah,
So you can't. So you have to just shut that off and go, just like you said, 50 to 51.
Yep. Exactly.
There's a lot of
51 to
people that have
52.
like, my brain doesn't work as easy as your guys like that. Like, I'm always like, I got to be that
Yeah.
top level, like go, like 100. And then like I'll start like not realizing it, and then I'll get down on myself, and then it'll be like backtracking, and I'll be like, so I like the way that you guys are thinking.
Well, it's hard because, like, I go to the races and I have to race against a guy like Tomac and Roxon, and I look at the lap times in qualifying, and I'm just like, holy crap, dude. I'm, at A1, I think I was like 6 seconds slower or something, like maybe even worse than that. And it's just like, dude, like, what is going on right now? And then it's like, okay, well, maybe if I was only this much slower, or if I was, if I was this much faster here, I'd only be this much slower. And it's kind of cool. I use a Lit Pro. Like, have you ever used a Lit Pro?
I use it on the side-by-side racing.
Yeah, like, they're sick. Like,
super cool.
yeah, like if you can see on it, like if you go a quarter of a mile an hour faster everywhere, you get a half a second.
Yeah.
Like, never really,
That's
like,
all
that's that much.
They're using that data. That's so cool.
That's a real thing. That
Strava guy using data. What?
What?
Yeah,
exactly right.
So you're reverse engineering it though. So that that actually gives me a lot of advice just in that one statement, because it makes me think, okay, well, if I want to achieve this goal, what do I got to do? I just break it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that's how you teach the kids?
I try to.
Yeah.
I mean,
how do they usually accept it though?
They go pinned in the first.
That's what I was going to say.
Right? I mean, they're kids,
right?
But I mean, I do what I can. You know, some of them, you know, listen super well, and they kind of understand it. And then other kids, you know, it's not as easy. But you know, sometimes I just have to like pound the simple stuff in, like, dude, put your leg up, dude, put your leg up.
And don't forget, everybody learns differently, like we were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So like the one kid I have, I can treat him like, you know, my best friend. Like I can yell at him, you know, whatever, and he's cool with it, you know, because he knows that I know what I'm talking about, and I just want the best for him. Where there's other kids where like if I like raise my voice a little bit, like they're going downhill and they're gonna ride over and they're gonna talk to dad, and it's like I gotta, you know, talk to everyone in their own kind of special way.
Yeah, that's cool though. That actually goes back to what you were talking about learning and being at a public school. Because if you didn't have those social skills and be able to understand people's mentality and their mindset, like you wouldn't be good at doing that. So super cool.
Well, it's a leadership trait too.
Yep.
Whether you realize it or not, but you have to be able to figure out who you're talking to, who's your audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And not everybody's the same.
Oh, for
just
sure.
Just like we say. So, yeah, that's good.
Well, obviously you like training the kids and stuff, but is that like what's one of the most fun things that you like about racing and about your occupation now?
I kind of like the grind. Like I've always been that guy that just loves training and trying to, you know, outwork everybody.
Dude, you don't think you'd be good at doing like professional cycling, like Tour de France kind of stuff?
I'm too heavy.
Yeah,
too big
isn't that insane?
man.
Yeah.
I'm too big and heavy.
He eats
I've
too
thought
much.
about it. Trust me. Oh, I eat way too much, dude. I've had like 12 tacos today. I don't know. I just enjoy like the hard work aspect of it. Like I don't think a lot of people see like what actually goes into it. Because some people like still to this day like think like, oh, you ride dirt bikes, oh, you ride your bicycle a few hours,
right?
Like, and then you work on your bike and you go ride a couple hours. Like that's not a job. And
that's
I'm
what
like,
all the football players said when I was in high school.
Oh, dude,
you
exactly.
just go like this.
You just go like, okay, bro, come on.
Same ones were like, you have a knobby pattern on your back from this weekend. Let me see.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I don't know. I enjoy the aspect of like I can go to a race and be like bros with all my friends, and then we can go out there and just freaking smash each other.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then sometimes there's beef, and sometimes we're like, all right, that was sick. Like,
exactly.
That's cool. You know, like that kind of stuff just pumps me up.
I kind of think about the same kind of stuff and trying to put it in other genres, like MMA fighters, right? Like, so you have to spar with your best buds all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like hitting each other and you're like doing all kinds of crazy stuff every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like those guys enjoy the shit out of that and working out. It's like the same mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a family affair, really. That's what's so crazy about racing in any genre or industry.
I think yes, but
it's
like
a dysfunctional family.
yeah.
But there's a huge family aspect to it.
But I was going to take it to the other end of the spectrum, though, too. Like, there's a lot of guys in off-road that are the same way, right? Like in the short course racing. But when I first got into short course racing, I realized very quickly it's not motocross. So if you go up and you touch somebody, you're going to get the wrath.
Ready.
Yeah, and you're going to get the wrath, and somebody's going to have a talking to later.
Yeah, car and like people don't like touching.
No, they don't like touching at all.
Yeah.
The problem is though, it's on dirt. Like it's still MMA with a four-wheel drive car. So it's like you can't always be right there doing it. But where I was going with this was that a lot of those people aren't the same background as what you're talking about, these kids that you're teaching, and the same as you. Like you can't just go out there and battle and forget about it and be buddies off the track. Like they're like more like cyclists. They're little bitches afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, don't touch me and I won't touch you kind of thing. And then so it's really crazy. But there's a lot of guys that are motocross guys that do it too, that are knocked down, drag out, like super cool. Mm-hmm. So it's a medium. And I really like the motocross stuff, like, because that's where I was the same way. Like, I didn't care if I was out there 4th, 5th on the track, whatever it was. As long as I was battling with somebody, that was the best race I was ever going to have.
Right. I love dude, the battles, like I honestly like winning is sick, but like I would way rather like have like a super hardcore battle for second. Like I mean, you guys know what I mean. Like I'd way rather like have like this cool battle than just go out and win by 30
just
seconds.
wax everybody.
Yeah, go to any national, right, and look at, say, 14th to 28th, and it's just the most gnarly racing happening.
Dude, right?
You know what
It's
I'm
the
saying?
best.
It
yeah.
is.
And it's like the LCQ in Supercross.
Yeah, totally.
Like anyone who knows
Yep.
Supercross knows that. Okay, these two races are back to back. I gotta watch
have
this
to.
because
Yep.
like someone's getting cleaned out.
Totally.
Like yeah.
The funnest races to ever watch. So yeah, and like even those, like let's just say 14th through 28th or whatever, like 2 seconds in between all of them, like everybody's just going back and
Insane.
forth. Yeah, like those are some of the funnest times, and that's where I was kind of going with that question when I asked you, like, what are some of the most memorable races? Because you talked about like some of the last chance qualifiers that you did. Was there any other races that you just remember just being like, dude, there's 5 dudes around me and I can't break these guys? Like,
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've definitely had motos where it's like, dude, like I feel like I'm going as fast as I possibly can, and I haven't made it. I remember my rookie year, first race, Dallas, first Supercross, Dallas, went out, qualified okay, got like 11th in the heat, and then bad start in the LCQ, didn't make it, whatever. Next weekend, I went, qualified like 18th, and then was like super pumped up that day, like ready to go. Heat race, running 7th, battling with Vince Freeze. Guess what?
Did you get freezed?
Yeah, I got freezed. Pushed into the tough box, crashed. And when I had crashed, we had like a sound map on my bike, and I hit a jump in the sound map, and my bike cut out on the face.
oh,
Came up super short, broke my hand, and raced the rest of the season with my hand all messed up, and it just never got better. I was always kind of struggling, and last Supercross of the year finally made my first main.
nice.
And
Good
I
job.
remember just like coming over the finish line and like looking at my mechanic, and he was just like throws his hands up in the air and he's just like, yes, like
Yep.
all these
All that hard work.
all these bars I've changed,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
all the subframes, like
Yep.
it's finally paid off. Like you
Awesome.
finally made the main. And then it started raining, and our first main,
Oh, no.
our first
Mud
main
race.
was in the mud.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's all right, though. Those are gratifying stories, though.
Well,
Dude.
especially when I think anybody that's raced long enough knows that, like, you're almost never 100%. There's
Never,
always,
yeah.
There's always
Never,
something
dude.
you're taping. Like we talked, no ACL, right? You're
Yeah.
going. So you know what I'm saying. So that
it's like
moment.
a lot of people don't know. Like I raced the whole. I think I broke my thumb at A2, completely snapped it in
This
half here. Yeah, it was I raced Phoenix. Had a cast on it for 5 weeks, so 5 races. I had this cast inside my glove. Like no one would know that.
Yeah, and I
like
think
no one sees the struggle.
Agree.
Sometimes.
That's what I'm getting at. I don't think people they don't know, but your mechanic knows it, and he knows how hard that was to deal with. Whatever that thing was that wasn't.
So,
that
yes.
was like 90% the whole time. So that moment when you make it, oh yeah,
Yeah, your close crew is like so amped
so
up.
Yeah,
stoked.
exactly.
We did side-by-side racing, and in 2016, I did pretty good, and then I got help from Yamaha in 2017. And right at the off-road season starts, I think, in like February, March area, and January 1st of that year, I broke my hip. And so I have like a huge rod and plate and all kinds of crazy stuff in my hip, right? So I only had, and a hip takes like a year and a half. I had 2 months, and I had to sit down in the car, right? You think like you just twist the throttle and go, right? No, well, sitting in the car is not as easy either. Like
Yeah,
you
no,
still
for
have
sure.
to get beat up, right?
Oh, it's brutal, man. Even just driving like a shifter cart.
Yeah.
Like I've driven shifter carts, like and stuff like that. Like it beats you up in those cars.
Broken ribs all the time. Those guys.
Yeah, that's why they wear the
It's
super
exactly
tight.
why they wear
And
those.
not
Yeah.
that it makes any difference, but like I had just gotten my Yamaha,
Deal.
help and deal and everything, and I'm sitting there going, should I tell people? So I told a couple people around me, and obviously my support mechanisms knew it, but I go into it and I'm like, I can't say anything. So I'm walking around at the races like tears coming out of my head, like because
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be walking. I'm supposed to be off my hip for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then so like I'm walking around and I'm like just trying to grin and bear it. And I made it through the season. I didn't do that well, but I made it through the season, and I still to this day think to myself, like, the motocross guys now are doing the exact same thing with better medical and gnarlier stuff happening, but they're still pushing themselves through it than what we did when we raced too. Like, he didn't even get fixed. He just went down and dirty and just got it done.
They just snapped her back straight and shoved it together. Yep. I just put this little, I called it a little Buzz Lightyear suit. I had on Perfect. It was funny.
But somebody that didn't grow up with the farm dirt life stuff, like,
oh, I feel like there's so many things that like I look at, and it's just like, it's like, dude, if a normal person saw what I was doing right now,
right,
like they would lose their mind.
Totally.
Yeah. And like,
what's wrong with that dude?
Like, I think this is something that I think is really funny. I think of germs, right? Like, obviously not this COVID stuff, but like, you know, I'll go to a race and track promoters, they'll put anything in the dirt to make it better.
Yeah, totally, right.
Like, whether it's manure, whether it's sawdust, whether it's mulch, whatever.
Garbage,
they're putting it in there to make the dirt better.
It's so true.
You don't, and dude, you have any idea how much dirt you swallow when you race a dirt bike? A lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it's brutal.
And then you water it and it all comes back.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, and then we go and we drop an M&M on the floor in our clean house, and you're too scared to pick it up and eat it. Like, are you serious right now, dude?
So true.
You know, so I always laugh at that. Like, people will see me, like, I'll drop, like, you know, like I said, an M&M or something, and I'll be like, I'm eating that. Like, they're like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. Like, when my dad and I were out actually grilling last week, and we dropped a pepper on the ground. It fell in the gravel, right? Mm-hmm. We just put it on the plate and just killed it. That was it.
Like, so many normal people would never do that. And
they'd be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, like, come on.
That's pretty crazy, though. So how many bones have you broken?
Enough.
Yeah, way too many.
Couple collarbones, couple wrists. I broke the bone around my eye right here.
Oof.
I took it's a long story, but
that fuck up your vision?
Yeah, I had double vision. I got to wear an eye patch for a while. It was super cool.
Pirate
Cade. Pirate Cade. But that one was brutal. I took a foot peg. It broke through the helmet and then up through my head.
No way.
Yeah, I had like 40-some stitches in my head. It was really bad.
That's a close one.
Apparently my dad thought I was gonna die.
That was probably a lot of blood.
No, it didn't bleed at all. It was crazy. So like, I got up. I was only like 11. I got up and I was looking for my helmet. And there was all these kids standing around. We had just gotten back in the woods of this like old moto track, and they were using it as a pit bike track. Kid jumped a jump, going one way. I rolled it, going the other way.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Welcome to the foot.
I see. Yeah, right. And so basically, they're like, "Cade, don't put your helmet on." And I'm like, "What's the problem?" And they're like, "You need to go back." And like, I didn't even know.
Did it fly off?
My helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it ripped my helmet off.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
you said that. That's right.
My chin bar I still have it at my dad's house. It's broken half right here from like where the foot peg went through.
Gosh,
and so then I just hopped on the pit bike without a helmet on and rode back.
I'm going home.
And dude, I remember I was cruising back, and there was a family, like, we were at a Loretta Lynn qualifier. There was a family like pitted along the road. And I remember like riding by, and like the look on their face was like they just saw a ghost. And I keep going. I get back. And I pull up to the motorhomes, and I see the one kid's mom, and then she like runs to the motorhome, gets a towel, and then all these people are like running around, like trying to take care of me. They throw me in a car, and we're trying to get out, and people are trying to get in. And the lady's like, "Y'all are gonna have to wait." And my dad's like, "Cade, take the towel off." And I peel it off. All of a sudden, this lady's like waving cars out of the way, and like trying to get everyone out of the way so we could go.
You still didn't know what was going on?
No, I did. I mean, I knew I had a big cut on my head. So I remember flipping the visor down in the car, and this is the only time I saw it.
Mirror,
yeah. And I opened it up, and I took the thing off, or took the towel off, and I saw it, and I was like, I freaked myself out.
Yeah.
Flipped it shut, put it back on, never saw it again. No one ever took a picture. Like, never saw it again. Got to the hospital, go into the waiting room, and the lady's like, "What's wrong?" My dad's freaking out. And the lady's like, "Sir, you got to calm down. Sit down, and we'll take care of him." He's like, "No." And he's like, "Cade, take the towel off." And I peeled it off, and the lady like instantly like got up, took me to the back, running. Like, it was like a massacre happened, and like it was freaking gnarly.
Yeah, especially for a little kid. Dang, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad that it wasn't worse, because
it could have been bad.
The gnarliest part about that situation is like how everybody says an inch left, an inch right. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Dude, yeah, that would have been crazy. That would have freaking spooned out your eye if it was a little bit
really close.
That's nuts. Well, I'm glad that you're okay, dude. So, all right, when was it that, excuse me, that you decided that you were like, all right, I'm doing decent in Supercross. I made my first main. Like, I'm actually going to, like, this is going to be something that is going to be my job. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I kind of just, just 1 year at a time. I wouldn't say that I was ever like, I'm just going to do this forever, because I'm not going to be able to do this forever. At some point I'm going to have to get a job and do other things. I'm not Roxon. I'm not making $1 million. I'm barely breaking even every year, basically. So I think like I enjoy it so much that I want to keep doing it as long as I have, like, kind of my thing is like, as long as I have the support, like I'm not going to go out and fork out $50,000 to go race dirt bikes.
right,
Like,
especially to do a small series.
exactly. If I have the support and someone believes in me to do it,
Yep.
I'll do it, and I'll give 1,000%.
Yep.
But it's like, I'm not going to use, all of my money and resources, all my wife's money and resources to try and go do something that isn't like right now I'm making money because I'm not the one forking out thousands of dollars, right? But I just, I don't.
Yeah, if you had to put it all back in, you'd be at zero. Yeah,
it'd be negative. It's impossible.
But it's good that you understand that, because there's a lot of guys that are doing that. You know what I mean? They're like chasing a dream instead of being in front of it. So,
Which, in another sense, if you feel like if someone wants to go spend money and go race their dirt bike as long as they possibly can and just do it for the pure enjoyment, like I love racing dirt bikes.
yeah,
But I don't love racing dirt bikes enough to go spend $25,000 to do it. Like if I have a sponsor and other people that want to support me and believe in me, I will 100% give it everything I have. It's not that I'm not trying hard enough, or that I would try more or less if I'd paid for it myself.
right. It's the same.
It's just the pure fact of like, I don't want people to think I only do it because I can.
Yeah.
It
It
but
makes
like
total sense.
if a rider wants to go buy a bike and race every round out of their van, like that's sick. Like I'm not, dissing that person for what they love to do or anything like that. Because that's gnarly. Like that's a grind.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It really is.
It is for sure. And if that's what they want to do, but I don't want to do that. I want to be able to go home and hang out with my wife and ride my bicycle and play with my dog. Like I want to have a life and ride my dirt bike. You know what I'm saying?
You sounds like you ride your bicycle more than you ride a dirt bike.
I do. I do. It's actually really sad.
That's good though, but that shows that you're giving it 100%, just like you said. So, what have been some of the accolades that you've achieved, at least in your? Because you've talked about some of the bad stuff that's happened, but you've also done really well in motocross, and Supercross.
I mean, what's actually really crazy is it's kind of sucks, but like I was so like mediocre as an amateur, and then like got good but never like won a title. That like I never won a title as an amateur. Like I never had this like super standout moment. Like I have a couple podiums in Canada I have those trophies at home. I have some podiums from when I was in Finland and stuff. And some like RC Hard Charger awards, and just like small like meaningful things. Like winning a Hard Charger award is gnarly. Like at a national,
that's huge,
like
dude.
at
No
Unadilla
doubt.
in 2014,
No
my
doubt.
first year pro. I crashed. It actually sucks because I think I started like 8th at Unadilla, but we all know that you go down and then you cross the finish line. Well, I crashed when you go under the tunnel, like 2 turns in. And I was in like 8th. I had cross-rutted on that step up, and I was laying on the landing. So I had to wait for everyone to go by. So then I crossed the line at 40th, and I think I got like 17th.
That's
So,
still super
dude,
good.
that was honestly probably one of my best outdoor rides ever, because I rode so good.
That track's
moto.
gnarly.
That was that battle I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that's cool.
Like things like that, like I remember so well, because, that's just awesome. Like I came from so far back, did super well. And
So it might not have been a championship. It was a huge win in your head. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it was one of the last races that year, so it was a pretty like those kind of accomplishments are awesome to me. Like, a guy like Kenny, a championship is what matters to him. But
Right.
like, I'm not Kenny. I'm not gonna go win a
Right.
championship. Like, if I could get a top 10. Like,
But you can still listen to some of the interviews that those guys do, though, and then if you ask them what's been the most memorable thing, a lot of times they don't say a championship. They say this championship, or because of this race, I won that championship or something. So it's really goes back to like the same mindset that you have.
No, for sure. I totally agree.
So 2020 has kind of been a bust so far, but you've been doing pretty dang good. Like,
yeah, I mean, we've been doing okay. I don't have the results I've wanted to have, but I mean, for not racing for 2 years and then coming back and doing it,
I think your results are still pretty good. Like, I mean, as far as we're concerned, sitting in this room, I think that your results are great, but you always want more. You know what I mean? That's just your mentality. So what does the future hold? Like, where are you wanting to go? Like,
I mean, I love racing dirt bikes. Obviously, I'd continue to do it. I'd like to do more overseas stuff. You know, I really like going over and doing like I did a finish race this last year. I'm going to do that again this year. I'd love to go do some races in Australia.
Those look pretty cool. That Justin Brayton series or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is.
Yeah, the Justin Brayton series. Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way I know about it, because I don't know anything about that.
Justin and I are good friends, and I'd love to go over and do that series. You know, I'd love to do some more German races. I think the traveling thing is super cool. It's weird because when I met Sarah, my wife, I was very Americanized. You know, like I was meat, potatoes, like this is how I live. Like I'm not going anywhere. And since I met her, like I've traveled more. Like I remember when I got to Germany, it was the first time I'd ever been outside of the U.S.
Sarah's showing you the ropes?
Well, no, she wasn't supposed to. I had left, and I was like, I don't really want to buy you a plane ticket. The team didn't want her to come and like stay at the house. And she had lived in Europe as a kid, with her dad working and stuff. They lived in the U.S. and in Europe. And I got there, and my mechanic didn't speak any English. My team manager or team owner barely spoke any English. And I was like, I hated my teammates, and I was like, this is miserable. I was there for 2 days, and I remember I was super tired, but I remember calling Sarah, and I was like, we're getting you a flight. You're coming, and I don't give a shit. We're going to make this work.
That's cool.
And, like, it was like normal life to her. She was like, I don't understand anything these people say, but we're going to do some pointing, and we're going to figure it out.
That's perfect.
You know? And,
love it.
like, now I just kind of love that. Like, I used to be super rude, like, if I was in, you know, say Florida and someone didn't speak English, it would kind of annoy me. Like, hey man, you're in freaking America, like speak English. Like,
well,
now,
when you're on shoes on the other foot.
Exactly. It's like I never even thought about it from that point of view, and now I just feel like an idiot. So like my whole perspective on things changed, and for the good, obviously the good. So now, like, I went to Finland, and basically everyone in Finland speaks English. But, like, it was so fun to go over there and, like, see, like, a different lifestyle. And, you know, it's the same way. Like, I'd love to go other places and see that kind of stuff as well.
Traveling is super cool, man. I definitely agree with that. The furthest we got to race dirt bikes was probably Mexico, I think.
I've never been to Mexico either.
Yeah. Did you do Mexico or no?
I'm banned.
Yeah. You're banned. How was Canada? Was that good?
Dude, I loved Canada, man. I love it up there. My wife makes fun of me. She says I'm basically Canadian. She came up.
Well, Ohio.
Yeah. Well, she came up for.
Well, she's from Michigan, so she's Canadian
she's
too.
Closer than me. Well, no, because I've raced up there, what was it, 4 or 5 years? 5 years I raced up there, 5 summers.
Yep.
And I've been on the West Coast every single one of those years for the whole swing. I just stay with a team or whatever. And this past year, she came up for the first round where we went a week early so I could test with the team, and then we went to Vancouver before the race and stuff. And when we were driving to the first round, which was in Calgary, which is like 8 or 9 hours inland.
Yep.
I was like telling her all these stories, and like, this is this place and this is that place, and like, here's this fact, and she's like, why are you like National Geographic right now? Like,
you're her tour guide now?
Yeah. She's like, why are we doing this? And it was just like so funny because I had been up there, and I love Western Canada, dude. It's so awesome.
I've heard good things about it too,
dude,
like Vancouver and stuff.
Favorite place on earth.
Yeah. It seems like it would be pretty cool. Everybody says, because I lived in San Diego for a long time, everybody says that Vancouver is a lot like San Diego.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I could see that.
I guess just because maybe it's the way it's laid out or something. Well,
it sure sounds like she changed you for the better.
Oh, dude. Like,
I think so.
Endless amounts. It's so funny. Like, dude, I used to drink milk by the gallon, and now I don't drink milk at all, and she just makes fun of me because I remember when we first started dating, I lived in, like, my fifth wheel, and she'd, like, come in, and, like, my gallon jugs of milk like wouldn't fit through my trash can thing because it was like a thing that went outside, and she was like, they'd just be like sitting on the counter, and she would just like make fun of me, and now it's like completely gone, all because of her, because I don't drink any now.
Do you like flaxseed milk or anything like that?
Almond
milk, yeah, same kind of thing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, much better than regular milk. Well, I'm pumped for Supercross to start back up and have you start kicking some butt, dude. It's going to be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, man.
And it would be cool if we all went on a bicycle ride one of these days.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just leave your KOMs at home.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair. I get told that every time I pedal with Sarah. Sometimes when I go pedal with Sarah and her friends, because my wife pedals a lot too. She's a really good cyclist. And like, if I'll go mountain bike with her friends, sometimes I'll go for like a mountain bike ride, and then I'll come back and go with them, because then I'm like kind of tired and I'm like more chill. And yeah, one day we did Milagrosa. You probably know where Millie is. It's a big downhill or big like enduro ride. And I did like an hour and a half before I got there.
That's cool.
Because I was like, I don't want to spend all day like antsy because I have to stop and, wait. Because I love riding with other people, but I like riding at my pace. Mm-hmm. So like if I wait on somebody, like I don't want them to think I'm like being antsy. So I like wanted to be.
Well, maybe we just need to go on like a beach cruise then.
Beach cruisers, not like that. We'll just cruise the trail with all the old people.
That's more my speed right there.
I like it.
That would be pretty cool though. What kind of bicycle do you ride?
I have a Stradale road bike.
Oh, right on.
And I have a Trek mountain bike, a Scott mountain bike, and a Specialized.
Dang, dude. No e-bikes though?
No e-bikes. Well, my Trek is a hardtail that I use for cross-country stuff. And then Mathis sponsored me with a Scott a few weeks ago, so I ride it more or less now. Sarah rides my hardtail more. And
That's
I
cool.
ride the Scott, which I actually really like the Scott. It's good. And then I just got my Specialized enduro. I didn't have a bike to ride really on Lemon, so
that's a good
I
bike
had
for
to
that,
I had to upgrade. Well, do you know the guys from Homegrown here in Tucson?
I know who they are a little bit.
Yeah, Sarah and I became really good friends with them, and I bought one of their old rental bikes that was in really good shape.
That's
so
probably a perfect.
Yeah, it was great. Yep. It was used, and I got a good deal on it, so I couldn't complain.
Well, one of these days we'll have to hit the trails or something. Maybe even one of these days when I go testing, you can come put yourself in a seat.
Oh, dude, anytime.
Yeah. He was addicted to when he did it.
It was so awesome.
Just one or two laps.
They're pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's really is like motocross on 4 wheels.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
No doubt.
And the that thing that you were talking about your vision and your speed and the way you look at it, depending on what track you're on, like if you're on a motocross track, it feels like it's twice as fast as a dirt bike does.
Really?
Yeah, it's super cool because the way that you have to handle everything and you're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty neat to do that.
Is it automatic or do you shift?
That one's a 5-speed sequential, just like a dirt bike.
Oh, okay.
So and it has a foot clutch, but I put a dirt bike clutch on it, so you can do it like a moto. So it's pretty cool.
But like when you turn, like, do you have to do like full circles or is it like okay?
You can change the ratio of that, so you can do it quickly.
So like you'd only have to turn like this much to go like a full 180 if you really wanted to.
So like if you're racing a dirt bike and you go in a berm, right? You can square it, and you use the back wheel to turn.
Yeah,
it's similar in a 4 wheels. You can use the back wheels to turn too.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on what you're doing. But if you're just trying to be smooth, then you can move it really slow. If you're trying to whip it into a turn, then you can do it. But most of the time you drive in 4-wheel drive, so you use the brakes and the gears and stuff, and you move the vehicle around with the transmission and different things like that. So I think you would enjoy it, and the skill set that you have, you would probably do pretty good. So
all right,
it'd be fun. Well, so whoever wants to connect with Cade, they can always connect with them on Instagram. We posted, what's your Instagram handle again?
Cade Clason.
Yeah, just Cade Clason. So, and it's SON. And you can look at the Dirt Life Show Instagram as well. And we have a bunch of posts on him up there. So
he's on Strava as the Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's Osborne.
Yeah, okay. Is he?
No, we just joke.
All right, so we got one last thing for you. We're going to do a rapid-fire Q&A with you.
Okay.
You haven't seen any of these questions, but we know some of the answers already. So why don't you start off, Case?
I think I know a lot of the answers, actually.
Okay, go for it.
iRacing or real racing?
Real racing.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is a good one. Tomac or Roxon?
Roxon.
You going Roxon? Okay.
Which is hard because my old mechanic works for Tomac, and I actually like Tomac a lot, but Roxon's sick.
Yeah.
Mountain bike or road bike?
Oh, man, that's a hard one.
I'm 3 for 3 right now. Of your guesses.
I don't know,
mountain
man.
Bike.
You're going mountain bike right now?
I thought it was going to be road.
Dude, it was close.
I thought it was going to be road too. Favorite food?
Pizookie.
Pizookie. What? Oh, is that
It's like
cookie ice cream
It's
thing?
like a half-baked cookie with
the
ice cream on top.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what those were called the other night. Aren't they
Pizookie?
frozen?
What?
Are they frozen?
Nah.
Oh,
No, they're
it's
like
different
warmed
than
They're
up
that.
and
like, they
melted.
put them in like little pizza pans.
Yeah.
And they put cookie dough
okay.
and like half-bake
Yeah,
it.
that sounds pretty good.
Dang, dude, that's fat kid problems right
Dude,
there. That
that's a
sounds
serious
delicious.
fat kid problem.
Yeah, my 150 miles a week isn't going to do that.
He asked me
I need
what
like
kind.
3.
He asked me what kind of diet I was on before I came over. He's like, "Are you cool with tacos?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm like a beanpole. I eat anything."
Whatever you got. Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls.
Your own pizza rolls?
Dude, I used to eat pizza rolls by the 120 bag. Like, I would crush them things.
Daily in like one sitting.
Seriously. I just leave the oven on all day.
Nice.
Favorite soda?
Zevia.
What the hell is that?
Dang.
It's more of like I'm not really a soda
Like
guy.
a soda water kind
Pop.
of thing?
I'm more of a pop guy, I guess.
Pop.
But Zevia, it's like, I don't know, it's like a sparkling water kind of.
It's all bougie.
Kind of.
Go Case.
Uggs or Crocs?
Uggs.
You're going Uggs
All day.
all day. You don't like. I saw a video the other day. We said it on the last show that when people have Crocs, they can put them in 4-wheel drive.
That's so true, dude.
Love that one.
So true.
Well, we kind of already went over this, but most memorable race.
Oh.
Yeah,
my
actually,
the first 450 main I ever made.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
I
a good one.
I didn't say that.
Have you done any bicycle race?
Yeah. Not like a couple, like not
Like sea otter kind of stuff?
no.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Like I've done like the Tour of Tucson
Yeah.
and like some other big rides like that back home where I've done well, but never like I want to win this.
Did you place in what's the platinum? Is that top 500
Yeah.
or top
It's 4 hours.
4 hour? Did you?
It's under 4 hours?
No,
Or
it's
in four?
It's under 5.
Oh yeah. I was like 420.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So you're just above. Yeah, most
No, I
guys
was in.
No, he was in
under
under
5
5.
hours.
Oh, under 5
Yeah,
hours.
If
Okay.
if you're in the 4 hours, you got it.
Dang. So you were probably like top 150 or.
No, I was 199.
Oh, you're Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sarah was 201.
Dang, she
That's
was
pretty
ripping that
awesome.
hard.
Dude, she crushed it.
Yeah,
she did
she
so
did.
good. She honestly almost beat me. Like, it came real close.
Was she drafting you the whole time?
Well, we just like we were
Go
in
together?
packs the whole time, but her and I stayed together. I had actually crashed a few weeks before at a Supercross in Canada,
that's
and I
killer.
almost couldn't race because I had a super bruised tailbone,
Ooh.
and like probably like 40 miles in, my freaking butt hurt so
bet.
bad, and I like found her, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I knew like a shortcut home, and I was like, I might have to go home.
She's like, no, you got it.
No, she was like,
slap
she
you
knew,
around a little bit,
she
give you
knew,
a gel?
she knew how much like I had, because I had full ejected and landed butt first on some concrete.
Ooh.
So like she knew how bad it was,
Yeah, that hurt.
and she was like, well, I mean, I get it, but yeah, no, I'd love to do some cycling events.
All right, Case. What's the next one?
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Pizookie.
Yeah, Tonight Dough from Ben and Jerry's.
Tonight, though, what is that one?
It's the one with the guy
Pretty
from the
specific.
Tonight Show.
Pretty specific.
I can't think of his name.
What's the flavor like, though? Like cookie dough, or what is it?
dude? It's like a jambalaya of a bunch of. It's got like
Everything mixed?
Are you like a Ben and Jerry's guy?
No.
Man, just go to the store, go to the Ben and Jerry's section, look for Tonight Dough or the s'more one.
And those are killer?
Those are killer.
Dude, I might need to go on some more bicycle rides pretty soon. Ski or snowboard?
Snowboard.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
I put this one on
Oh,
snake.
this is a new one.
Snakes or spiders?
Scared or like?
I don't know, either
I
one.
guess
If you-
it's open-ended,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I mean, I don't like spiders at all, but I don't like snakes that I can't see.
yeah, that's true.
I
Like
remem-
underwater snakes?
No, like Sarah and I like to backpack and hike and stuff, and we were in California, and we were on a trail that kind of had tall grass on both sides, and we're walking along, and I stepped and looked down, and there's a freaking snake like going across
Ooh.
my shoe. Dude,
Ugh.
I jumped and squealed like the biggest little girl I've ever seen. And she's just dying laughing, but like I'm not like if friends carrying a snake around, like I'll hold it and stuff like that, but if I can't see it and don't know if it's a rattlesnake or whatever.
Yeah, but
it
in the
freaks me
wild compared to like a house snake or something,
Yeah.
way different.
Totally.
This is how all your mountain bike rides are going to be this summer, just so you know.
Oh, I know.
There's way more snakes this year, too.
Yeah.
Tons, yeah. So you'll see a lot of them.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Burrito or taco?
Burrito.
Dang, really?
Tacos not enough food, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do you think? I've eaten like 15 of them, dude.
So, what's your favorite burrito then? Because we had Josh Shorter that was on the phone. He picked burrito too, and he said a California burrito, which is carne, potatoes, guacamole, like all that stuff.
I mean, okay, I'm kind of a very American guy, and I don't really like when I go to like a Mexican restaurant.
You don't want French fries in it?
No, like
Yeah, you're going like traditional.
no, like I don't really like burritos from like a normal Mexican restaurant. Like if I go to Chipotle and like I can kind of pick everything that's in it, I think
see.
that's
Yeah.
super good.
It's because he's scared of the snake in the grass.
What's going to go on?
What's gonna be in the burrito? Exactly. You never know because every restaurant is just
Yep.
that much different.
What's the next one, Case?
Supercross or motocross?
Supercross.
Nice.
Okay, this one, we already got my answer for this one last week.
Finally.
So, what other form of racing would you like to try? And you can have anything. Like we always say it, you can pick monster trucks all the way to F1.
Oh.
Any type of
I
racing.
feel like if anyone said I don't want to try F1, they're an idiot.
Yeah.
But I would really like to get like when I'm done racing moto, I would really like to try racing bicycles some.
Bicycles?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Like, what about like rally? Like, there's so many forms of racing.
Oh,
It's
that's way too expensive. Like I think I would be really good at downhill. If I like put effort into it, I think I could crush downhill.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool, like, after career thing to start working towards, too. Well, actually, you're already working towards it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to take you to Angel Fire on one of our.
Dude, okay, so
It's
all
the
all
best
my friends
place
just
ever.
say Angel Fire Association.
Where's that at?
It's
New
New
Mexico.
Mexico.
They just say how
Up by
unbelievable
Taos.
it is. I have friends that are there right
It's
now.
amazing.
Yeah, they say it's they say
Why
it's
is
the
it so
Whistler of
amazing?
North America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is. It's there's like 60 miles of groomed.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Downhill, like enduro,
awesome.
like everything.
All right. Last question.
Is this me or you?
You can.
This is pretty important.
He said he's Americanized.
Chips and guacamole or fries and ketchup?
Chips and guac.
Yes.
Nice.
So you're not that American.
I mean, I love fries. Don't get me wrong.
I know, but the ketchup is what throws
I mean-
everybody off. Because if it was ranch, it might have changed the answer, right?
This is true.
Well, I mean, technically, you're kind of still getting a fry with the chip.
Yeah.
So it's like just a thin fry, you know. So
What makes you feel better about having it?
and then the guac
Chip.
is super healthy. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay. Win-win.
Yeah.
a little less carb, a little more fat.
And the good fat.
One of these days, somebody's going to say French fries and guac.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
What?
a good one.
Yeah.
That's actually
a
a
good
good combo.
Yeah, but if they say chips and ketchup, we're out.
Yeah,
like,
we're out.
You need to like you need to change it from like chips and guac to like carrots and hummus, and see like what people really.
so we can super profile people. like, no, like,
how healthy are you? Like, are you cool to hang out with and be healthy, or are you like the
or never going to go out to eat with you ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you living in your Volkswagen bus?
Yep.
yeah.
Van life. Well, dude, thank you so much. I don't know if Casey has any more questions from you or for you.
No, I think we covered it. Good.
That's
It's been a
good, man.
time.
You did an awesome job,
Yeah, man,
tonight.
thank you.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, and thank you for coming all the way down here from your from
whole
your 15
18
minutes.
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have probably rode your bicycle over here.
I
like,
almost, if Sarah wasn't gonna come, I was gonna ride the Grom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just cruise. That's what thing's nice about Arizona is you can ride anything you want basically
Yeah,
as long as it
right.
has a license plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. You guys are always the lifeblood of this show. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Shock Therapy. Thank you, Rigid Industries. Thank you very much, Solder Weld, for giving you guys that stuff. We already had Sinister message us. He's already ready to get his Solder Weld off-road repair kit. Thank you to the guys at KMC Wheels, and thank you to the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. Like I said, thank you very much, Cade,
And
for
Gabe-
coming down.
And Gabe for the awesome backdrop.
Yeah, Gabriel brought his. I don't even know. We got to give this thing a name because it's so freaking pristine. I don't know. How hard do you think you would tear this thing up, dude? This
Dude,
thing's badass.
it's pretty sparkly clean. I don't even know if I would.
So
So I
this-
don't mind riding my wife's KTM 150 because it's like it's not hammered, but it's like
But
the
you keep it that
plastics are
way,
smoked.
so
it's
it's
like
okay.
it's like okay
Yeah.
if I go out and
Yeah.
just ride the heck out of it. Where like if I went and rode that, I'd have to be like, proper.
Dude, it's pretty nice. It's even got nice banjo bolts in it. So the people that are listening on audio, we have a YZ250 two-stroke in the studio. This thing is badass. So thanks, Gabe Zarate, for bringing it in. Number 320. This thing is,
Look at the wire tie.
Dude,
Like he's even got
dude,
all the
it-
good wire
he's
tie.
all factory.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around.
Super factory. You should have seen the 110 that he had. This thing was like better than Roxon's 450, dude. It was pretty badass.
Almost as expensive, too.
Yeah, exactly. That thing was a freaking piece of art. So, and thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys, as always. Feel free to contact us if you have any more questions for Cade. And, yeah, let's all watch Supercross, man. We'll all have a Cade Supercross party. That'll be pretty cool. And we'll all root for Cade as he goes and tackles this crazy next 3 weeks starting May 31st. So, like I said, man, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching us. And we will see you guys next week. And our featured guest is actually already in the studio. None other than get to know your co-host, Casey Peck. So it'll be pretty cool to have that conversation with him. So one of these days we'll have to have a show for me, too. So it'll be pretty cool. Thanks very much, Cade. Appreciate it, dude.
Guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Love you guys. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.